The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Which I did not pick out. I didn't. The football coach picked him out for me. He said, Willie, for your next 4 years at St. Cloud State, which turned out to be 5, but that's not important. All 3 of them name was Junior. And I think they were brothers. One morning at 6 o'clock, they came to my house, scared me to death. Knocked on the door. I said, Juniors? What y'all want? We want to know if you want to go ice fishing. Didn't know what it was. Thinking to myself, wow, how poor are these people? That they would have to go fishing for ice.
Showtime!
I'll be damned. What a thrill it is. An absolute thrill to welcome you to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Oh, it's early, boy. 5:41. And we hope everyone's hanging in there. We got company today. You heard him there in the intro. Good friend of our radio program for a lot of years. Stand-up comic C Willi Myles will be here later.
He's great for an ab workout. Belly laughed every time he's in.
An ab workout.
It's not even how funny he is with the things he says, but his delivery is so good.
He's one of our favorites.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
He's going to swing through today. It's been a little while since we talked to C Willi. Total pimp.
It's cool because since he started coming on the show several years ago, people will text in, hey, I saw him here, or he came to my work and he did a corporate show, stuff like that, and reaffirming how good of a comic he is.
I wish I'd run into him somewheres. I never run into C Willi.
You got to go to one of his shows. I mean, that's what they're texting about.
For Christ's sake, you mean I got to go to one of his shows?
Yeah.
That's asking a lot. He's a great guy. He always has been. We're looking forward to seeing him again. Was he doing a Fat Albert voice in that bit?
If so, I don't think it was on purpose. I didn't notice.
That brought me back. I
loved that show.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the main actor there? Anybody know?
I have no idea.
Google it, Wappel.
You mean the guy who did all the character voices?
Yeah, the main one.
I don't know. I have not heard a word about it.
Because he was super fun. I'd imagine he's got to be doing something pretty cool with the amount of talent he had.
I don't think he's been in the news in the last couple of years.
No,
he just disappeared.
He might not have been. He might not have been a somebody in the first place. It might not have been someone that you'd bother keeping track of in the first place. So we'll just we don't know. We don't happen to know whatever became of the dude who voiced all the characters from Fat Albert. But the character voice that C Willi was doing in the bit there, you want to go ice fishing? It reminded me of watching Fat Albert as a kid. My God, I loved that program.
Hey.
Yes, I wanted to be a member of the group. I wanted to be in there with Fat Albert and Rudy and God, now I can't think of any of the characters. Well, there's Mushmouth. God. Fat Albert, of course. Anyway, Josh, I was on a website last night doing awful show-related research, just awful. Just so frustrating and monotonous. And the website that I was cruising around on showed me an ad for the latest Ghostbusters movie. Are you all jacked to see the latest edition of the Ghostbusters?
I'm looking forward to this one. They just released the trailer. And
it's just something we've covered already. I apologize.
Yeah, we mentioned that it was going to be coming out. But I was excited to see the last one, too, and it was okay. But this new one, I think, looks better.
It does, actually.
It looks quite a bit better. The trailer made it seem cool. Here, I just edited that up.
It's brand new. The brand new trailer for the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, here's the trailer.
They called themselves Ghostbusters. But
parables tell of an unimaginable evil commanding an army of ghosts. The power to kill by fear itself.
Like literally scared to death?
We might be looking at a second ice age.
Can I be of any help? Melnitz in uniform. Yes.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
We're the Ghostbusters. Can I tell you something else?
What?
Bustin' makes me feel good. It makes me feel good.
Bustin' makes me feel good.
Yeah, from the song.
A line from the old Don't Tell Me, Ray Parker Jr. hit single from 1984. Sure.
March 22nd, it comes out.
All right. And then did you also know that they're making a Top Gun Part 3?
Yes.
I kind of pictured they would after the popularity of the second one.
Absolutely.
100%. That took off.
That movie took off. That movie was gigantic.
What are your thoughts on Top Gun Part 3?
Well, you know, Tom Cruise had said he won't make
Cruise. He's insane.
Well, yeah, he is.
Yeah. Sorry,
but he can make a good movie.
I couldn't hold it.
He is very particular about it. And that's why it took so long to make the sequel, because he wants it to be perfect. And the second one was awesome.
Oh, so you're telling me that this could take a hell of a long time before we get to number 3?
Well, possibly, but I mean, he's not going to make it unless he thinks it's on par with the first two.
Right, he doesn't need to cash in at this point. I think he's doing okay for himself.
You know who met him once? Any of you's ever met Tom Cruise? I know there's rumors that he goes out on the lakes in Brainerd all the time.
Lake.
Yeah, right.
I know people that bring that up.
I don't buy a minute of that.
I have not. I've never seen him, never met him, nothing.
Nope.
You know who's met him in person and said he was very, very nice and much smaller than you'd think, but very nice. My friggin' wife.
How'd she pull that off? How were the circumstances?
She's a big shot.
Okay.
Yeah. She's a big shot in the what they call the business world. I have no idea what she does for a living. But no, sometimes she gets to go to fancy schmancy things. I wish I could be more specific with what I'm talking about, but there was one fancy schmancy party that she went to, and there the sumbitch was. I think he was with his wife at the time, some little dark-haired number.
Oh, some
Katie Holmes?
Jenny Holmes. What'd you say?
Katie Holmes?
Katie Holmes, that sounds right. And they talked, and he was very, very soft-spoken and nice. And she said he was just a little feller.
He is.
Just a little.
He comes across that way.
They like to make fun of that in Family Guy.
Oh, yeah.
From time to time.
They sure do.
I never even noticed before I've seen those Family Guy bits, and I was like, oh, is he really that short? And then I looked it up, and oh, yeah.
He's just a wee little man.
Little guy.
Yeah, so there you go. Ghostbusters and
Top Gun 3.
Top Gun Part 3. People are texting in. Did you hear about Roadhouse? Yeah, we talked about that, I think, yesterday, the day before. Roadhouse.
Looking forward to that one.
The remake is coming out. Lethal Weapon 5, people are telling us about.
Man.
Lethal Weapon 5.
Jeez.
I think maybe you mentioned that, Josh.
Yep.
Danny Glover and Mel Gibson.
Now they are really too old for this.
Back together again. Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. All right. I know the remakes and the reboots and the prequels and the sequels get a little tired.
Well, they do, and it's always a risk, right, that they're going to ruin something that you loved.
Yeah, right.
At one point.
But at this point, I used to bitch about things like that, but it's so out of control. What the hell am I going to do about it?
And also, it's like, if they do remake one of your favorite movies, it's not like you have to go see it.
No, but it still bothers you.
Yeah, it still can. Like the Roadhouse, when they said they were remaking Roadhouse, I thought, why would you do that? That was such a good movie. And it doesn't seem like a movie you'd remake necessarily. But the trailer does look okay. I'm looking at it, I guess, as a different movie than the original Roadhouse. It looks all right.
You guys were so pumped for Bill and Ted.
Oh, I know. I forgot about that. Yeah. The new Bill and, not new anymore, but when that came out, I could not wait to see that. I loved the Bill and Ted's movies. It was such a part of my childhood. Oh my gosh, that movie was terrible. That was so dumb. And by the way, they're talking about making a new one.
Of course they are.
I don't know why after that last one, why would you do that?
Did anyone see the way my body language and my facial expression just dramatically changed?
I feel like I could see your soul leaving your body when that was brought up.
All Wappel had to say was the latest Bill and Ted movie, and my morning is ruined. Don't worry. I'll get better, but Oh, God. And then someone just texted in about the friggin' Twister movie come. Okay.
Twisters coming this summer.
Now I'm literally angry. But you're right, Dana. You don't have to go see these remakes or whatever they are. Remakes, reboots. You don't have to.
Prequels, sequels.
But if you really love a certain movie, it still pisses you off that they bothered to mess with something so great. I will never, ever forgive Adam Sandler and whoever else was behind remaking The Longest Yard. That is unforgivable to mess with that friggin' movie. The original Longest Yard is one of the great. And here comes Dinkus and his gaggle of, oh, God, look, it's all the regular funny jag-offs from all the Adam Sandler movies. Just aggravates me to this day. Great.
The Sandman.
Now, C Willi's going to get here, and he's going to say, well, what's this guy's problem?
He'll cheer you up. It's a perfect day for him to come in.
But I'll have to say, they put me in a bad mood at 5:51.
At least they didn't make a bad movie about the Von Erich family.
Yeah,
right.
Thank God.
That's a good point, Wap.
Yeah.
That'd probably put you over the edge.
I got a news break for you, Wappel. They did. Made a piss-poor garbage movie about the Von Erich family. They did.
Weldon Jesus is looking forward to Despicable Me 4. I just saw a trailer for that. One of the football games over the weekend.
Sure,
an extended trailer for that.
I can't stand the Minions.
The Minions?
What don't you like about the Minions?
I don't like their little voices.
Well, they said the same thing about us.
Probably.
I've never seen any of those movies, but I've always wanted to. I just haven't sat down and watched them.
You would probably think they're
cute.
hilarious.
I mean, I've got a kid, so I have an excuse to watch them. I don't know if you'd like them or not.
I absolutely loved Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, that movie was fun.
God, was that movie so much fun.
I know nothing of what you people are.
Have you watched the Lego movies?
Yes.
Those are good.
Those are hilarious. And then the Batman movie was great because I love Will Arnett. Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know any of those operations that you guys are talking about there. People are trying to hurt me now. They're trying to give me a heart attack. They're talking about, please tell me no one's remaking Cool Hand Luke.
Not that I know of.
I will.
I think they're messing with you, but maybe.
Okay. No, they're probably right. Folks are saying things about where is this? This is a joke, right? Young Guns 3? Wait a minute. Did that already happen?
If it did, it came and went pretty quick.
No,
I remember that.
There wasn't a Young Guns 3, was there? See, I think people are just trying to give me a nervous breakdown, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. All right, there you go. Oh, I saw that when I was watching that Ghostbusters.
There is.
What?
Lou Diamond Phillips says Young Gun 3 is in limbo.
Okay. That is something that I had heard before, now that you've mentioned Lou Diamond Phillips.
So it's just one of those rumors.
Okay.
You know, sometimes nothing could happen.
Well, if you know what, if it's the original gang and it's just the third edition of the series, that fine. I don't know how they're going to... If Emilio Estevez shows up, I don't know how they're going to explain that. Well, wait a minute. Lou Diamond Phillips' character died. So did Kiefer Sutherland's character. So did Dirty Steve. So
maybe
did
a prequel?
So did Charlie.
Oh, no, that wouldn't work.
Because they were also young.
It'd be like a Benjamin Buttons thing. Yeah. No, that's not going to work.
Even younger than you thought possible, Guns. Right. That's right. A prequel couldn't work. So, okay, fine. Whatever. I'll deal with it when it happens, if it's a real thing. But it just dawned on me, everybody's dead from that series. I still hate it when Dirty Steve and Charlie die in the first one. Still bothers me. Can't handle it, Cubby.
I hear you there.
Except Charlie did get that sumbitch. What the hell was the name of the kid? Someone text me. John Kinney. Charlie did kill John Kinney before he died. You had to be there. So, the original, not the original, the latest Ghostbusters trailer. I noticed in the trailer, do you remember the first one, of course, Josh, from 1984? There was the dude who was trying to shut the Ghostbusters down.
Yeah, the guy that was dickless.
Yeah. That's how I remember him. They called him Dickless.
Yeah. It's true. This man has no...
Right.
That's a good line. As a kid, I remember dying when that happened.
Oh, yeah, that was a great line. So I don't remember what his role is. Is he a politician?
I forget exactly. I remember him as a politician, but he might not have been.
But I saw that he is going to be a character in the most recent Ghostbusters. So they're bringing back that heel, that villain.
He's a guy that plays a douchebag really well.
He does. I remember him from the Lethal Weapon series. He played a reporter that wouldn't leave John McClane's family alone. I'm sure you all remember. But anyway.
Walter Peck. I think that was his character name?
In Ghostbusters.
In Ghostbusters.
Yes, you're right. I was excited to see that guy because he plays a great heel. And like you were saying, I remember the Dickless line like it was yesterday from watching it in the theater. And he was one of those guys that, I mean, you wanted to lay him out with a punch to the mouth as soon as you saw the sunlight.
Oh, yeah, just his face. He's got a punchable face.
Yes, big time.
Yeah, he plays a great douchebag.
That's a skill, man.
It is. I mean, there's some guys that are so good at it.
People know Ghostbusters are calling in saying he was an EPA agent. EPA?
Oh, like environmental protection?
Environmental. There you go. He didn't like the Ghostbusters setup because he was an environmentalist.
Oh, it's funny that, his nickname was Dickless in Ghostbusters, and his character's name in the Die Hard movies was Dick.
I'll be damned. Character name was Dick. Maybe that was an inside Hollywood joke.
Maybe, yeah.
I was just reading, actually, about some other movie characters with punchable faces. Punchable faces. The Emperor and Gladiator. What's his nuts there? River. Donnie Phoenix, Ricky Phoenix, Mario Phoenix.
Yeah,
Ronaldo. Joaquin Phoenix.
There we go.
Yeah, he's a prick bastard in that movie. It's on every night on a cable channel that I have. Every night.
I know on the list they had Hans Gruber from Die Hard, but I think a more punchable face would be the coked up dude that's like, babe, Hans, babe. That guy that worked at the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy had a punch. Just his whole attitude sucked.
The big shot businessman.
Yeah. He's gonna, he's all cocky. He's gonna go in there and he'll fix this thing.
I make $1 million deals for breakfast, Bab. He says. Nurse Ratched. From One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. There's probably still 2-3 of you in this friggin' room who have never watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Sound off if you're one of them. Don't be shy.
Never seen it.
I've seen it.
I haven't seen the full one.
Yeah, I saw it.
I've seen parts of it.
You've seen part of a Flew Over a Cuckoo Nest?
Yes. I've seen one coo.
I can't be mad at you, Josh, because I love you. Ashley, I love you too. But not as much as I love Josh, so I'm pretty pissed.
I know. I can't believe I haven't seen it yet.
I don't know what's the matter. How could you not?
I just never got around.
How could you not have watched that movie 20 times in your lifetime? I've watched it at least 100 times. Punchable movie faces.
You're less intentional, I think, than most people with TV. Like, you'll just kind of flip around and land on something.
Sure.
But I think especially now, people are a little more intentional. They know what they want to, or they might still look around to find something. But versus just flipping around to see what somebody else is playing.
Yeah, it's still 1979 at my house. I just kind of finger bang the remote until I find a movie from the 80s, and then I stick with it.
Because for me, that's what it is from back in the day, right? Some of where I've seen just a little bit of this movie or a little bit of that. It's just you kind of tune in at whatever point in the movie they're at versus sitting down and watching a movie from the 70s on purpose.
Where am I going with this? Punchable movie faces? Stifler from American Pie?
Oh, I could never punch Stifler.
Yeah, I disagree with that one. What about Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter?
Oh, I hate him.
Puke.
What does it mean to be Draco Malfoy?
Yeah.
He sucks.
He's kind of like the evil kid who, he comes around in the end, but yeah, just a little brat.
Yeah, he's a rich kid. Comes from money.
Okay, you said what series is that?
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Okay, what about Twilight? Did anyone party with that scene?
Yep, I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Team Jacob, right, Ashley?
Oh, yeah,
All the
totally.
way.
Yeah, right. No, Team Edward.
No. Team Jacob. That's the wrong answer.
You're out of your mind, Ashley.
I never saw it, but the punchable face,
I didn't really like those movies too much, but I guess I don't see why he's punchable. I would say the other dude, Edward, is more punchable.
Yeah,
They named Jacob Black as the punchable face from the Twilight Show.
Taylor Lautner is his real name.
Some of these I don't know. Eddie Martell, The Replacements. That's that football movie.
Yeah, I never. Keanu Reeves, Gene Hackman. I haven't
pieces
seen that either.
Lord Farquaad from Shrek.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's very good.
And he's got a giant chin, so you can easily make contact with that thing.
Exactly where I would want to hit him. It's a stupid chin.
Shrek?
Yeah.
From way back when, it's
Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy.
Never saw it.
Not the gumdrop button.
Man, that parody of Cops they did called Knights, that got me.
God, that was so good.
Dr. Chilton from the movie Silence of the Lambs. He's the doctor that's a smarmy prick, and I remember his character, sure. I never was a big Silence of the Lambs guy. I don't really fully get. I mean, what's his name? Anthony Hopkins was great in Silence of the Lambs. Other than that, I don't worship it like a lot of other people. But I know the character they're talking about, that doctor who's kind of a prick to Jodie Foster for no reason.
Yep. He's one of those guys, Dr. Chilton, the actor that plays Dr. Chilton, who has a punchable face no matter what. Not just his character in this movie. Yeah. Just one of those guys.
Just in general.
Punchable faces from movies. Luther from The Warriors. Well, he gets it. He gets it in the end from, what's the gang that finally takes out Luther? Come on, Wappel. God, they were a cool group of guys. Look it up if you have to. They finally take Luther out at the end of The Warriors.
Yeah,
and probably some of you have never seen The Warriors either, which is sad.
That video game was a lot of fun, too.
Is it The Rogues?
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with The Rogues. I don't know. There's so many gangs in The Warriors. Never saw it. Angel Face from Fight Club has a punchable face. Anyone?
Oh, yeah. Is that Jared Leto?
Yeah. I don't know.
No, Dolores Umbridge, Harry Potter? Dolores Umbridge?
Can't picture who that is.
Don't know it.
There's so many.
Pardon me?
The Riffs.
The Riffs. With
Riffs? That's
double Fs. Riffs,
and
yes.
then the Rogues was Luther's gang.
That's right.
That's what it was.
Cal Hockley, Titanic.
Oh, yes.
What's his nuts? What's his name again?
Billy Zane?
Yep.
Dennis Nedry from Jurassic. You already know who I'm talking about?
Oh, dude, Dana's one of the biggest Jurassic Park fans out there.
Yeah, I've seen Jurassic Park more times than I'd ever like to admit in a public setting.
I don't know if he's punchable. I mean, yeah, he sucks. His character sucks, but there's just something about him.
He's so dorky looking.
Folks who don't know, is this the chubby dude who kind of is
Seinfeld?
Shady? He's a shady guy.
He plays Newman in Seinfeld. He's the guy that is the security guard who, basically shuts down the whole park.
Steals the recipe for mosquito jizz or whatever. And
Correct.
Jurassic Park. Okay, I really like this entry into the subject, punchable movie faces. Because, man, I love it when this guy dies in the movie Django Unchained. Calvin Candy, played by Lenny DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
I love it when he gets shot in the friggin' chest. Die, you prick.
God, that movie was good. And he was great in it.
No, he wasn't. He sucked. The Riddler from The Batman? I don't know the Batman scene.
Oh, yeah. What's that guy's name?
Riddler?
It's not Paul Dano, is it? Oh, no.
Yes, it is, Josh.
Oh, is it Paul Dano?
And I know you're probably going, what do you mean? You never saw it. But I saw the picture from this article. Yes, Paul Dano, who's a really interesting guy, in my opinion.
He does have a punchable face.
Yeah, he does.
You know what's not on the list? King Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
Oh, he should definitely be on the list.
I think they skipped it because it's not a movie. It's a cable series. I think that's why they skipped it.
Yeah, even so.
That's just
He's
my
the
guess.
worst.
Did you ever see Paul Dano? Back to Paul Dano. Did you ever see him play Brian Wilson in the movie about the life of Brian Wilson? And Brian Wilson, of course, from the legendary Beach Boys. What the hell is that movie called?
I don't know if I'm familiar
Love
with
and Mercy.
Yeah. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not great. It's pretty good. But I love the Beach Boys, so I'm kind of a sucker for that kind of stuff. But Paul Dano did a great job playing Brian Wilson.
Here's a good one from The Brotherhood. What about Percy from The Green Mile?
Oh,
that guy sucks.
Yeah, he was chokeable from the get-go. Derek Huff from the movie Step Brothers.
That's a good
Well, they do. They kick him in the face, and he lands on the...
Yeah, that is so satisfying.
And then he says, hey, bitch, to his wife, I'll get it in a minute here. Dane Cook, pay-per-view, 45 minutes. Let's go.
I love when he's climbing up the treehouse and then just gets kicked in the face.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about.
I know. I love that scene.
Did you see his abs?
Yeah, wow. That'll make you laugh.
Vizzini from The Princess Bride, the little guy who's screaming with the inconceivable.
Can't punch that guy.
No, I like that guy.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I know he was kind of a prick, but I like that guy. Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore.
That's a great one.
That is a good
Yeah,
one.
No,
he's a douche.
You don't think that's a good one to put on the list?
I just don't want to talk about it.
You brought it up.
I had to.
Because he's got a punchable face.
I'm a reporter. I'm a journalist. The Patriot is the movie here. I remember bits and pieces of The Patriot.
Well, yeah, I don't remember much about it.
Forget it. Oh, and then they end up with your guy here, Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter. We mentioned that one already.
A lot of people are saying Biff from Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
You see, I kind of liked Biff.
Oh, I couldn't stand him.
And maybe that's why I liked Shooter McGavin, because he was anti-Happy Gilmore. I didn't root for Happy Gilmore in that movie. I was rooting for... He didn't belong out there.
That's true.
Shooter McGavin was right the entire time. Get the hell out of here. You're a noisy, annoying little prick. I'm trying to be a golf legend. So I was on Shooter McGavin's side. I wish he would have choked Happy Gilmore right the hell out.
Christopher McDonald, the actor who played him, Shooter, he does have a punchable face, and he's also a good guy that can play a good douchebag.
Yes, absolutely.
I wish Bob Barker would have beat Happy's ass half hour into the movie so he wouldn't have to sit through the rest of it. So there you go. That's fun. That's fun as hell. So there you. What else is going on? All right, so we'll get ready for C Willi Myles coming in a little bit later on. He's probably got something or another to say about this Super Bowl that we're all facing here in a week and a half.
Oh, yeah.
He's a
big football
guy. I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to predict that C Willi Myles isn't completely disappointed by the upcoming Super Bowl matchup. I think he's going to find something he likes about it.
I'll hope he can spread that, because I need something to look forward to.
We all do. You're a great crowd. Thanks for joining us. We'll take a break. Come back here in a few minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud. They lose control. They do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
Dollar count.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, my word.
Everybody okay?
I think so. You know, sometimes folks text in and they ask what it is that we do while commercials are playing, while songs are playing. Josh and I sometimes sing. We sing to pass the time. I was just singing a song to Josh while we were rolling through that commercial set. My mother smokes crack rocks. Oh. My mother smokes crack rocks.
You guys know that one?
My
No, I
mother
don't.
smokes crack rocks.
It's catchy,
My
though.
mother smokes crack rocks.
What was this song about Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, I whooped Spider-Man's ass
Yes,
because he hit on my girlfriend?
Yeah.
I think he whooped Spider-Man's ass because Spider-Man made a move on his girlfriend.
Wesley Willis.
Yeah, it's just these are the songs of the late great Wesley Willis.
My mother smokes crack rocks. My mother smokes crack rocks. My mother smokes crack rocks. I was Spider-Man's ass. I was Spider-Man's ass. I was Spider-Man's ass. I was Spider-Man's ass.
There's no doubt about it. Spider-Man didn't have a chance. All right.
One of the great talents of our generation.
Absolutely.
I got a few of his CDs still at the house. I really like that guy.
Didn't he also sing Rock and Roll McDonald's?
Yes.
Bet your ass he did.
Sang a lot of songs, Wappel.
Yeah.
He sang a lot of songs. I don't think we're prepared to mention every one of them, but he sang a lot of them. All right. Word is that foot fetishism is crazy hot right now on the stupid internet.
I keep hearing more and more about that, and it seems like everybody's making the feet finder joke lately.
Feet finder joke?
Just comes up in different punchlines.
I hear you.
Like, no free feet pics. I don't want my feet ending up on Foot Finder or Feet Finder, whatever it is. You guys have heard that too?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Experts say that folks will give you big dollars for pictures of your effing dog's feet. It's a nickname for feet for you younger people. You could earn up to $45,000 extra per month. Per year. $45,000 extra per year, they said.
A friend of mine growing up, she was a hand model
cool.
for television commercials and things like that. I wonder if OnlyFans was a thing back then, if she'd make more money, peeling carrots or
I'm sure
washing cucumbers or something like that on OnlyFans than she would selling soap.
Only hands.
You bastard.
Josh, there's some information in here that leads me to believe that you and another one of my closest bros, Big Al, there's some information in here that leads me to believe that you and Big Al could become obscenely rich if you decide to display your feet on the internet. But that's the word going around. Foot fetish, how do you say it? Foot fetishism is mental hot right now. There's a lot of money to be made. Man, people these days will whack off to just about anything, won't they?
Yep.
Yeah, is it just there's so much out there that it's boredom whacking off to more mainstream things?
Yeah, you need something a little bit crazy, a little bit more out there.
Yeah, like watching a couple of women together or maybe a throuple or something like that. Just doesn't do it for folks anymore. You've seen that a million times.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. In the put pictures of your feet on the internet so strangers can beat off business, the experts that I was telling you about say your toes can make a huge difference as to how much money you can pull down.
Yeah, there's a gentleman who texted in, said he has webbed toes and thought maybe he could make $1 or $2 on Foot Finder.
I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but I don't think so, because from what I read, folks want perfection. They're very picky, I guess is the only word I can come up with, as to what kind of feet are going to give them a proper orgasm while they masturbate in their grandmother's basement.
Yeah, they don't want to be grossed out looking at feet.
Well, some people, again, are into that. You're bored masturbating to regular feet.
Yeah.
But I know that my particular style of feet, I think, is the second highest earning foot that's out there as far as on Foot Finder.
I mean, what I read originally was that square feet. Okay, I'll get there. I don't want to jump ahead here because I know thousands of people are waiting anxiously on what kind of feet generate the most money. There's a sex therapist quoted here in the story, and those folks never get tired of hearing themselves talk. And other experts, that's where I'm getting this information. They say the peasant or Roman foot type is a big earner online. Now, and I had no idea that different kinds of feet had different labels like peasant or Roman, but it's a thing. The peasant or Roman foot type is a big earner. That's when do I have this written down right? That's when the 3 largest toes are equal in size. So your big toe, the second one, and the third one. If they're equal in size, that is and I can't believe I'm actually getting into specifics here, but that really gets the foot fetish folks tearing at their zippers. If your 3 biggest toes are all equal in size. This nonsense goes on and on. A survey released by a fetish website called Fun with Feet said that, folks, here it is. This is where you and Big Al could make the big money. Square feet were earning up to 45 grand ski.
So I have, I don't quite fit the definition of the article where they're saying like all 5 toes are equal length. I just have more block feet. It's like a 10.5-inch 2x4.
Oh, okay.
With some toes that are at an angle. If you were to like miter it at a 45, that's kind of what I've got. But there's no arches. They're just big, thick Fred Flintstone feet.
That's awesome.
They're stupid.
Cubby, I have seen your feet, and I think they're close enough to qualify for this 45 grand. I know what you mean.
Yeah, the toes just don't qualify.
Your toes aren't quite equal, but I think you've got a close enough example. And my pal Big Al also has square feet. What else is there here? Greek feet?
That's what I got going on.
Where the second toe is longer than the rest. That also is a big earner.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've got the second toe is longer than everything else. That's, I guess, so Wappel and you and I share that. We love older bands, television wrestling. We're both good looking, and we both have Greek feet. Those are the things that we...
we had curly hair.
Curly hair.
Oh, yeah?
But be warned, if you want to make that FU type of foot fetish monies online, it is a process. They talk about the quality of your images. You have to understand your audience. You try to get creative with the lighting and the props and the multiple images. They go on and on from there. So,
grape stomping or something like that. I bet that'll make you money.
You got to work at it is basically what they're saying. Grape stomping? I don't know. Sure.
I watched a little TV show, and the girl in it, she was on like a feet website, and she put a bunch of berries and like fresh fruit in a tub and smashed on that. I guess it made her a bunch of money.
Guys everywhere were just... But sorry, Ashley. I have to shut down any dreams that you have of making big money. If your feet are hairy, they say that doesn't work.
Oh, darn, yeah.
If your feet are hairy, get out the bush trimmer, because folks want nothing to do with hairy feet. It says here 96% of people, 96% is how you say it, of people find hairy feet unattractive.
Shave your damn feet, Ashley.
Yeah,
Mine are darn near
out
bald.
of control sometimes.
Wait a minute.
You guys have hairy feet?
I do,
No,
yeah.
not at all.
No, not much.
Not a hair.
Okay, then there's the Egyptian foot. I remember the Egyptian magician. But what they're talking about here is the Egyptian foot. If your big toe is taller than every other toe, nobody wants any part of that either. Don't bother putting pictures of those feet up on the internet. You won't make a dime, they say. In closing, I guess I suppose my obvious lifetime battle with foot fungus probably isn't going to go over well with the look at feet while I molest myself crowd. They probably don't want that yellowish color.
No, I'm guessing not.
think
Maybe
so.
you'd find your one.
Yeah, there's a fetish out there for sure.
Oh, they're so yellow.
Josh, you were talking about the website Feet Finder, where people upload pictures of celebrities' feet or random feet. And one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen, I knew a girl who uploaded her own photos of her feet to this website. Like, oh my God, can you believe somebody posted these on Feet Finder?
No, those are, I thought that's what it was kind of like an OnlyFans for feet. It's not. It's celebrity feet.
Well, there is one that is celebrity feet. And so she tried to act like, wow, somebody like went through my Instagram and uploaded all these photos of my feet. Can you believe this?
That's a cool move.
Yeah, it was so pathetic.
Off-road snapper Sheezus is not going to work today because she's got square feet. She wants to make $43,000 a year. Sits on baby Sheezus, wants to know if there's a category for bunions because she's got them.
Oh, yes.
Anyone here had a bunion?
No.
I guess I have like small ones. I always thought my feet were normal, like how I just have like a little, like a bump on the inside of both my feet, until I started like really looking at other people's feet, and I was like, oh, I guess that's not a normal thing.
You hate feet, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Gross. Flip-flops are disgusting.
I don't know what a bunion is. What is a bunion?
It's like a bump on your, like the side of your foot, right?
Yeah, yep, and it's on like that bone right there that
I
you
don't
got
know.
on the inside of your foot. But I mean, they do My mom, hers are way worse. I guess they can be worse if you wear like flip-flops your whole life or whatever. And the doctors told her before, like, yeah, we can shave those down. But no, thank you.
If it's a foot issue, I likely have it, but I just don't. I've heard people talk about bunions my whole life. I've never investigated what it exactly means. If it's a foot problem, I have it.
I have to get wide shoes. They're more comfortable.
Yeah, I do too. There's certain brands I can't wear because my feet are too stupidly fat.
Especially if I'm trying to find a pair of heels. It gets dangerous.
Tell me about it, sister.
Oh. All right. I've seen one of these gimmicks before on video. I have. And it's a cute bit, and I'm sure all the social media dorks love it, but it also comes off like a good way to get yourself or somebody else shot to death. A guy in Colombia staged an elaborate armed robbery, well, more specifically a carjacking. A guy in Colombia staged an elaborate carjacking so he could propose to his girlfriend and have it be a big story, and then, of course, become popular on social media.
Yeah, that stuff is scary. I mean, you don't know who thinks it's real, obviously, and if they're carrying. And they're thinking, I got to save this lady.
You got some citizen walking around,
trying to do the right thing.
Wants to be a hero. He shoots everyone to death, and it was a friggin' joke. It was a setup for a marriage proposal.
Well, ma'am, you're welcome.
Right. The video of this deal is going round and round the internet. In the video, a red car is seen pulling up to an intersection on the streets of Colombia. Then all of a sudden, a motorcycle and a couple people on foot block the vehicle's path. Two people posing as carjackers then order everyone out the car. Two more dudes come screaming up on the scene on a moped, which of course means you're in real trouble. Two guys on one moped is an intimidating look, isn't it?
Yep.
Two guys on one moped, that's when I know, let's clear out of here, boys. Anyway, next part of the video, you see our guy, the one who planned this caper. He and his girlfriend come out the car. It's playing out like a real carjacking. And the supposed carjackers even forced the guy to drop down to his knees in the middle of the street. The guy's girlfriend screams, "Oh no, please don't bukkake my boyfriend." I'm kidding. But while the guy is down on his knees, all the fake carjackers move out the way, and then there's our guy on his knees in perfect position to propose to his lady. And it occurs to her that this was all an elaborate setup for a marriage proposal.
I don't know that my wife would find that funny. I certainly wouldn't.
I don't think I would. It'd probably be a no.
Oh, you just proposed right after I wet my pants.
Right. There was so much poop in my pants. Tell us about the proposal. Yeah. I remember a lot of poop.
I could see those stupid prank couples doing something like this.
Like,
prank
couples?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
like on YouTube and stuff?
Yeah, the husband and wife always do pranks every day on the other person. Shoot them with whipped cream or something.
I'll shoot you with something that appears to be... this gal seems slightly upset at being fooled with. She smacks the guy upside the head a little bit. Everyone claps and cheers. And the video wraps up with the woman wrapping her arms around the fella, so I guess we're to assume that she said yes. Like everything else posted up on social media, some folks loved the bit, others were disgusted by it, so there you effing go.
What if they ran the dudes over on the moped? They're trying to get away.
That's true.
You're right. The girlfriend reaches over with her foot and puts her foot on the gas and says, "Let's get the hell out," and runs over.
Something horrific happens.
That's totally reasonable. That is understandable if that was their reaction.
Right. But no one thinks about that. They think about, hey, they're going to see us on social media. I got something or another here for you about a dude in a town called Delhi, which I'm told is in India summers. The story says they've been dealing with some colder than average temperatures in that neighborhood. I looked it up. The average high this time of year in Delhi is about 70. But anyway, it's terrible.
Nice.
It's been colder than average over there. I don't know how cold, but it's been colder than... I'm always cold and I hate it, but this is no way to correct that problem.
It's 62 there right now.
It's pretty nice.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
We're pretty close to crazy.
We are.
Yeah, that's true.
We hit 50 yesterday.
Not like it's 30 below.
Ridiculous.
Dude set a motorcycle on fire to try and stay warm. And even worse, it wasn't even his damn motorbike to set on fire in the first place. This dumbass move got recorded on video. I never saw it, but word is the video was all over the place on social media. The motorcycle was parked out on the street. This guy stares at it for a while. He sizes it up. I don't know how he does it because I didn't see the video, but the dude lit it on fire, and then he stood around the damn thing to warm up like it was a bonfire party. His name is Kumar. He pulled this effing stunt at 3 o'clock in the morning. And before you ask, no, he's not homeless. He lives down the street with his damn folks. He could have just gone inside. After noticing the motorcycle on fire, its owner and another neighbor come out of their apartments and called the cops. They must have thought they were seeing things.
What the hell, man?
The fire department raced over and put out the fire, but the motorbike was a total goner. Kumar was arrested. Kumar told police that he set the motorcycle on fire because he was cold. The cops think that Kumar was drunk off his ass.
That had to have been it, right? On something.
You know, I don't know how old the guy was, but maybe let's say he was 30, and Kumar's thinking, I don't want to go back into the apartment with my friggin' folks.
That's my thought. Yeah, he's got to be a grown man who's just tired of the living situation.
I want to stand out here on the street, despite the cold, and just stare at a fire and wonder what has become of my life. How did I get here that I'm 30, still living with my friggin' parents in Delhi, wherever that is? That's terrible. I hadn't heard of this one yet. Were you folks aware of the yearly Naked Festival in Japan?
No. Of course.
You were familiar?
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Oh,
yeah,
I hate myself.
Several times.
I don't remember any of those times.
Well, it was notable, but for the same reason this story's notable.
Okay. I don't remember talking about the Naked Festival, and I'm ashamed of myself. I wonder if Mr. Big ever played the Naked Festival in Japan. They played
if
everywhere.
Not, I bet somebody's got him on a boombox, for sure.
What day is it today?
Today?
January 30th. So that means we have 22 days until Mr. Big plays in St. Paul. 22 days until the lifetime dreams of Cubby and myself come true.
One of my all-time favorite bands I've never seen.
This impossible dream comes true. Josh and I at a Mr. Big concert.
I'm so excited for you guys.
Well, that's nice of you to say, Ashley. Thank you.
What were we talking about? Oh, the Japanese Naked Festival. Here's the deal. This year, coming up next month, there will be another Naked Festival. And this time around, for the very first time ever, women will be allowed to join in with the fellas.
What a bummer.
But they won't be allowed to also be naked. The story here in front of me says this is an ancient ceremony. The theme for the party, the naked party, is to drive away evil spirits. How swinging penises play a role in that isn't exactly clear. But they have to be naked, the dudes.
I don't know, if I was an evil spirit and I came across about 1,000 naked guys, maybe I'd go haunt somewhere else.
Exactly.
So I can see why that would work.
Evil spirits are just like the rest of us, where if they see thousands of naked men walking towards them, they get the hell clear of that scene as quickly as possible. The festival's been regarded as off-limits to women since it was first held 1,200 Japanese years ago. That's effing crazy. 1,200 damn years. But this year, they're going to allow gals. But the gals can't get naked. 40 women's will be allowed to take part. I don't know if they sign up for a lottery thing or what. It says here the women will be fully clothed. They will make ritual offerings of bamboo grass. I don't know what we're talking about, but that's what the women are going to do. Here is the bamboo grass offerings for the evil spirit, but they will not be part of the full-on naked party. It's going to be just the bros again. And I'll tell you this. Naked Japanese women who feel cheated by this can come to any damn party that I host. I'll throw my closest friends out onto the street to make more room for naked Japanese women. Good Lord, am I a fan. It's just, they're not terribly dialed into equality over there in Japan. They need to pull their heads out of their asses. It also says here that Japanese women aren't allowed to sumo wrestle professionally either. Come on, you dorks.
Darn.
Let the gals do their thing. So, this is a move, I guess, in the right direction. They are going to allow women at the all-male naked party.
You know, it's probably...
But they have to wear clothes.
Probably good, just, I'd imagine some of it's got to be protect them from some of the animals that might be there,
Oh, true.
Right.
Some guy's going to screw it up.
Oh, yeah, I suppose there is something to be said about that. That didn't come to mind for me. But this is insane. This is how strict they are in Japan about not allowing gals to get too close to the professional sumo wrestling ring. Now, women can sumo wrestle at an amateur level in Japan. They cannot be professionals. They can't go to the big arena with the big sumo party. Okay? This is how strict they are. A few years ago, at a sumo show, a fan collapsed at the show from a stroke. A few women were there, including a nurse. They all rushed on to the sumo ring to help save this poor bastard's life, and the referee repeatedly ordered them to leave the ring.
Dang.
We got a guy dying over here. I mean, come on, Earl Hebner. Give us a break. This guy's dying over here. But that no women can come anywhere near the sumo ring. They did save the guy, I understand, but... No women in the sumo ring. This man's choking on his tongue over here. He's dying.
I said no women in the sumo ring.
Oh! God dang. Again with the United Kingdom here. Ambulance workers over in that part of the world. Oh, they went ahead and made a public statement about too many jag-offs calling for an ambulance when it really isn't necessary.
I like these kind of lists.
Or as they might say in the United Kingdom, necessary. I don't know if it's necessary or necessary. You like this kind of thing, Cubby?
Yeah. Well, some people are so ridiculous with the 911 calls, just in general, not necessarily just to the ambulance service.
They're called the Welsh Ambulance Service, and those folks say that they received 68,416 non-life or death emergency calls last year. That averages out to 188 a day. The non-emergency situations. Why are you calling for an ambulance? One example was a dullard that called an ambulance because he had, quote, eaten too many kebabs and now they had a stomachache.
I hate when that happens.
I do that with pizza sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Just go for it.
Another caller said they had lost the bottom part of their dentures and were worried they could have possibly swallowed their own teeth. Now that certainly sounds like an annoying problem, but not enough to call for lights and damn sirens. A fellow called Andy Swinburne, he's the executive director of paramedicine. Oh my goodness, what a gig. He's the boss. He put out a statement to the local newspapers where he said, our plea to the public is to apply your common sense. And that's a lost art all around the world these days. Most people know the difference between a real emergency and something that is uncomfortable, painful, or irritating, but not life-threatening. Makes perfect sense to me. A transcript of one call to the ambulance service had people chuckling. A dude called up to say that his hand was stuck in one of those mail slots that people have in their front doors.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
His hand was caught in there.
I always wanted one of those.
I grew up with one.
I think they're cute. I always remember when I was a kid, watching movies where the kids would be waiting for the mail to go through the mail slot. It's I want that to be me.
It's good to dream, Ashley.
In this transcript of the guy calling for an ambulance when his hand was stuck in the mail slot, he says, hi, my hand's stuck in a door. And the operator on the other end of the line says, well, is the door locked? And the guy loses his patience. He kind of screams at her. My hand's stuck in the in the letterbox, he says. I like this. The operator says, how old are you? Dude says, Come get the door open. My hand's stuck. Come on, dude. What's the matter with you? Ambulance services across the UK have been overwhelmed in recent years. This is effing mental. It says here that last year, someone who actually needed real help had to wait 65 hours for an ambulance.
Oh, no.
Balls, Mahoney, that's nearly 3 days by my mathematics skill set. There's got to be a way to shorten that up or people are just going to up and die. 65 hours?
I mean, that should be reserved for the kebab guy. Unless he took a skewer to the aorta or something like that.
A lady called an ambulance because she lost her voice. That might be my favorite one. She lost her voice. Called an ambulance.
Ever heard of some, like, nice green tea?
Someone
yeah,
called...
over there, they're familiar with tea.
Someone called and said, hey, I know it doesn't 100% qualify as an emergency, but my wife accidentally rubbed chili in her eyes, and her eyes are burning.
That would suck.
Dude called because he got a ring stuck on his finger.
That seems like...
pretty outrageous.
At best, urgent care stuff.
Yeah,
right.
at best.
Right. All right.
Maybe they get free ambulance rides there. I don't know.
Because those are expensive.
Yeah, that can make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
In closing, this effing guy right here will likely tell you to be careful with Google Maps. He'd likely tell you that Google Maps sucks. He went hiking, again with the stupid hiking, and ended up getting boned by Google Maps. The poor bastard had to be rescued by a damned helicopter after he got lost in British Columbia. And he says he followed a made-up trail on Google Maps. The local cops say this is the second time in 2 months that a hiker got lost relying on Google effing Mapskis. This year, unnamed hiker found himself stranded on a cliff on the backside of a place called Mount From, just north of Vancouver. The guy was busy attempting to reach the summit of Mount From. Instead, the cops had to dump a couple of rescue dudes down in there to pull the guy out, and it wasn't easy. It's a dense, foresty type area. The hiker was in real trouble. He wasn't wearing much. He had no flashlight. He had already started eating the fingers off of one hand in order to survive. No, I'm kidding. But he was cold as balls. He had no flashlight. He didn't have much for clothes. He wasn't planning on being out there all day. He was trusting the Google Mappy Maps. And like I said, this was the second time in 2 months where pot-smoking, nature-humping hikers got trapped up there on Mount From. Because they were chasing the fake trail displayed on Google Maps. I know nothing about this kind of thing. How does a fake trail come into play? Can a 14-year-old kid tap into Google Maps and say, yeah, go this way?
I didn't think so.
Is it like Wikipedia where anybody can mess with it?
No, I don't believe so,
I didn't think so either.
I didn't think, same
I've had some of those GPS take me really stupid ways or be completely wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we mentioned your wedding. That was way off.
I tried to take you, somewhere else.
Or I've been, you get invited somewhere and then they tell you, don't trust Google Maps.
Yep.
They'll tell you this is the way to go. It'll tell you the wrong place to go.
Word is that the Google Maps folks have deleted this non-existent trail after learning about this gangbang.
Delete.
Expert-type folks who wander around the woods are advising amateurs to use apps designed specifically for the outdoors, like Cal Topo or Gaia. I don't know how to say these things. These are specific apps for roaming the outdoors. They say, or go ahead and use a paper map and a compass like our forefathers did. They said, be prepared for this and that and know where you are ahead of time. And put down the pot and just start drinking like an adult. You're not in 7th grade anymore, they said. That would be terrible. You got no clothes on, you're lost in the friggin' woods. I wouldn't even go in the first place. That's the thing. I find no pleasure in, hey, look at me, I'm wandering around the woods and hiking.
Oh, I love hiking.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
As long as it's not too, I guess, draining. I don't really, and I don't like too too much height, actually. So maybe I don't like hiking that much.
Sounds like you don't like hiking.
I like walking around like a forest. There you go.
Jesus
Is that
Christ.
hiking? Well, I don't know. When people think of hiking, they think of like climbing up a mountain, but I think of like walking through a park.
So
like
you're saying
a
like
nice forest.
There's
maybe.
a difference
Maybe there's
between
a
walking
waterfall.
through a park and hiking.
So yeah, you don't like the exercise nor the view, is what you're saying?
No, I
But
like
you do
the
like
view.
hiking.
Just, Ashley, let's just take a break. What do you think about that?
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, we
Be
got to
right back.
regroup after that.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
The people that frighten me the most are the people who are paying attention on the plane when they're explaining how to fasten your seatbelt. How you ain't gonna know how to fasten a seatbelt? What cave you been living in? Even if you've never flown in a plane, you have to have been in a car. And if you've never been in a car, then I don't suggest flying be your first mode of transportation. Because it's gonna be very scary.
Very scurry. That's the seatbelt bit by C Willi Myles. He's going to be here in about a half hour. Our friend, stand-up comic C Willi Myles. We always enjoy seeing the man.
Love him.
He's going to swing by and say hello. I just had to tell a listener to chill out and have a Quaalude.
Why?
Well, because they don't understand. They don't understand. They're on our case. They're on my case. They're on Josh's case. They mentioned Wappel, too. They don't understand that Saturdays around here we get to drink. They got a problem with that. I had to say, don't be a flatliner. Chill out. Have a Quaalude.
Sounds like a flatliner to me.
On Saturdays, we get to drink.
Mm-hmm. Don't be a flatliner.
Jesus. As a Timberwolves fan, last night's what I needed to see pretty badly. I needed to see what they came up with last night. Big win in Oklahoma City. They were the better friggin' team in the fourth quarter. That's a very good basketball club that they beat. Those are the top two teams in the West. That made me feel a lot better about things last night's ball game. They beat Oklahoma City 107-101. We'll get into there's more from this ball game you're gonna want to hear in about a half hour when Randy Shaver and, as I mentioned, C Willi Myles swing by. There's more from this ball game. Friggin' Ant is going to get fined. Ant's going to get fined, but I loved every second of it. Not a total surprise here. I'd heard rumors the Twins traded Jorge Polanco to the Seattle Mariners yesterday.
Yeah.
They're trying to pile up some live human beings to pitch next season. They're trying to pile up some money. And, Jorge had a great run here. He was the longest tenured player on the roster. I really like watching him play.
Same here.
But moves have to be made and things have to be done. They need some fellas who can throw a baseball across a plate with velocity and accuracy. So they got to make these kinds of deals. I wish them well. We got plenty more to cover, like I said, in about a half hour. We'll take a break here and come back with Josh's news report on the program.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
We're all juggling life, a career, and trying to build a little bit of wealth. The Brown Ambition podcast with host Mandy and Tiffany the Budgetnista can help.
When it comes to financial stuff, gather friends, confidants as you go along who are on the same path as you, because family is amazing, but family doesn't always understand the journey that we're on because they have their separate journeys. So I just feel like the more voices you have, whether it's ours from listening to the podcast, we can be like your big sister friends.
Brown Ambition.
Wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
She sped off and unfortunately took this woman with her. It's devastating that someone would take someone's animal. If someone stole my dog, I would probably try to kill them myself.
So would Ashley. Some dog owners would do almost anything for their beloved four-legged friends. A fact proven by a woman named Allie Zacharias, who took a ride on the front of a speeding car to try and save her abducted French bulldog. The 44-year-old was eating lunch in downtown Los Angeles January 18th with her dog Onyx by her side. She said a woman approached her table and started calling her dog before snatching his leash and making off with him.
I didn't think that somebody was stealing my dog. I thought it was a misunderstanding. So I was like, that's my dog, excuse me. And she wasn't listening, and she turned and she got right into a car, and I tried to follow her into the car, but I got in there and there were 4 people in the car. Nobody came, and next thing I know, the car's driving into me, and I basically fell onto the hood.
A bystander captured video of the vehicle zipping down the street, Zacharias clinging to the front, holding onto the windshield wipers at about 40 miles an hour.
As he started to go faster and faster, I started to say, I'm about to die. This is my death right now. I'm about to die. It was horrifying.
A quick turn a few blocks later finally sent Zacharias flying off the vehicle, leading to some bruises and scratches, but luckily no serious injuries. Now her only concern is getting her dog back.
Well, she didn't get the dog back.
Not yet.
They kept going with the dog.
Police obtained surveillance footage from nearby cameras as they worked to identify and track down the thieves.
I can't even fathom what I would do if somebody tried to. Yeah, if somebody tried to, especially from my hands.
That would bring something out of me that has probably never shown itself.
Understandable.
Yep, I 100% agree.
The theft was one of a number of high-profile crimes targeting French bulldogs in Los Angeles, perhaps the most notable in 2021. 2 of pop star Lady Gaga's dogs were taken in a robbery in which their walker was shot and injured in Hollywood. In a separate case the next year, a 15-year-old boy was charged with armed robbery in connection with the theft of 2 French bulldogs at gunpoint. Then just last month, an Amazon driver in Florida was arrested after stealing a French bulldog with an estimated value of about $4,000 from a residence while making deliveries. The thief had just delivered a package to the address and after interacting with the dog, decided to take it. French bulldog puppies, now the most popular dog in the country, regularly fetch more than $1,000.
You are truly a pathetic human being if that's your operation.
Yep.
You don't even matter. You don't matter at all.
It's not just stolen dogs creating human hood ornaments. Crazy expensive watches are doing the same thing. On the other end of the country, from our previous story from L.A., a New York man was so desperate to stop a scammer who cheated him out of $8,000 on a Rolex watch, he jumped on the hood of the thief's moving vehicle. Steve Morrow, who put his watch up for sale on Facebook Marketplace, arranged to meet the would-be buyer in front of his home around noon Friday. The suspect inspected the watch, agreed to buy it, but asked the unsuspecting seller to come back to his vehicle to retrieve payment. But the thief, with the watch in tow, locked his doors and soon got into the car and floored his gray Honda SUV in reverse, knocking Morrow to the ground. Undeterred, the seller then hopped on top of the hood, again attempting to stop the driver. But the suspect ultimately managed to get away with a free Rolex, leaving the victim with cuts on the knee, elbow, and hand. As of press time, that robber had not been caught.
What a nightmare.
A doorbell camera appeared to catch a pizza guy stealing a package from a Colorado porch after delivering a pizza.
Dude.
It happened about 7 p.m. Wednesday in Denver. At first, the homeowner believed the alleged porch pirate was posing as a delivery driver until his neighbor confirmed they had a pizza delivered around the same time of the theft. Neighbors also spotted a pizza delivery car parked outside.
Pizza delivery.
It wasn't until the next day that he saw the video showing exactly what happened. In a 7-minute video, you can see what appears to be a pizza delivery driver walking around apartments in the area. About 4 minutes later, he was seen stuffing a package inside a pizza carrier before leaving and walking away.
It made me very nervous and kind of tell that he was truly trying to see what else was available. We've had other incidences here where things weren't clear on the camera, but this was pretty clear.
The stolen package was worth a little more than $100. But the concern is there are a lot of people in the area who get important packages delivered, and timing for some can be critical.
Life-saving medications, work supplies, and things that, travel documents is certainly something that's easily replaced. Those are important things that we all get delivered.
After calling the pizza chain location and filing a police report, the homeowner posted to the Nextdoor app to alert his neighbors. Meanwhile, the Denver Police Department is investigating. A 27-year-old man suspected of robbing a Georgia bank was found sleeping in the home of an unsuspecting woman days after the crime was committed. James Rayborn was arrested Wednesday on multiple charges after he allegedly passed a note to a bank teller about 20 miles north of Atlanta last Monday afternoon, demanding money and threatening that he had a gun. Police say they got a 911 call about 10 minutes after the robbery, but by the time they arrived, Rayborn had already fled. Using footage from the bank and neighboring businesses, along with the help of technology from the department's Roswell Crime Center, detectives were able to identify a vehicle of interest as the potential suspect. The following morning, a vehicle driven by Rayborn triggered license plate readers. Officers tried to pull him over, but he drove off, later crashing and taking off on foot. Then Wednesday, around 8 p.m., detectives pinged cell phone data that led them to believe Rayborn was still in the area. A homeowner met police at her door, and when she walked to meet them, she saw Rayborn lying on the floor of her spare bedroom, never knowing he was there. The homeowner was not aware until that point that Rayborn was inside, and there was no prior contact between the two, police said. Officers entered the home and took the man into custody without incident. Police are still investigating, but they say Rayborn and an accomplice could be linked to several other armed robberies in the Atlanta area. Police are seeking a man accused of stealing nearly $30,000 in underwear from apartment laundry rooms in Colorado.
Wow.
Officers searching the 39-year-old man's home found more than 500 panties, bras, and pieces of lingerie stolen over a 3-year span.
What kind of motive are we dealing with this individual? Is it for sexual gratification? And if it is, then will that motivation continue to increase?
The stolen underwear belonged to more than 30 women and children between the ages of 6 and 69.
I'll just try to keep my underwear to myself, take it some other place.
He's not interested in yours, bro.
The guy's stealing little kids' underwears, too?
Yep.
Ooh.
Gross.
Ooh-wee.
Investigators identified the accused thief after posting security photos online in July.
They've had flyers up for a while. I just thought someone needed laundry.
No, he didn't. After a lengthy investigation, a national warrant's been issued for the man's arrest on felony charges of burglary and theft. A staff member in the San Francisco District's Attorney's Office was fired after sending an email about panties. Apparently, he did this to the DA, inquiring about the color of her underwear. In the email sent Friday morning, the victim advocate and the department's critical incidents team appeared to be responding to a calendar invite when it appears he claims that it might have been an accident. The exact wording of the email read, "What color panties do you have on?" Officials say there's no relationship between the district attorney and the individual who sent that email. The now fired employee apologized, saying it was sent in jest, saying while texting back and forth with his fraternity brother, he sent a very inappropriate email.
With his fraternity brother.
Yeah, I don't know if that helped. He said it's not the person who he is, and he said he carries himself with respect and dignity.
I doubt that.
Which is evident by a story out of the San Francisco Standard, which said the same man was previously sued for sexually harassing a robbery and gang violence victim he had been assigned to support.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful man.
Respect and dignity.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
That's the worst thing I've heard all day. What the hell is wrong with you?
A man has been arrested amid a police probe into a creepy clown robbery in Australia, the Great White North. Footage of the incident, released last week, captured a man wearing a clown mask and black clothing, robbing a gas station December 29th. As he enters the business at about 7:30 p.m., he can be seen brandishing what appeared to be a gun at an employee. The footage captures him leaning over the counter, grabbing the entire cash tray before running off into the night.
Big shoes and everything flopping behind him?
Yeah, got into a little tiny car with about 15 of his friends. On Saturday, Queensland police revealed a 39-year-old man had been charged with armed robbery over that incident.
What a douchebag he is.
A naked woman wielding a sharp-edged vegetable peeler threatened convenience store workers, destroyed a Red Bull display, and masturbated in front of sheriff's deputies in an eventful Sunday night.
Is that right? What was she swinging around?
Vegetable
peeler. Before
peeler.
her genitalia, a vegetable peeler.
Investigators allege 35-year-old Celia Barrett caused a drunken disturbance at the St. Petersburg, Florida store upon arriving sans clothes. Barrett, peeler in hand, completely nude, was angry and yelling about being trespassed from the store the day before. She even threatened 2 workers, one of whom told police Barrett said she'd kill him. She proceeded to topple and break a display of Red Bull, spill cigarettes from a carton she tore open. When officers arrived, she was still inside and still naked, and prior to being taken into custody, she put on a show and began masturbating in front of deputies.
You gotta be kidding me.
She reportedly admitted to being intoxicated and said she had consumed approximately 6 shots of some sort of liquor.
6.
Ma'am, we're going to give you 20 minutes to knock that off.
Those vegetable peelers can be dangerous, though. I just sliced my thumb open the other day. and it took a whole chunk of my skin off.
I'm not trying to be a dick here, but did you really think you needed to tell us that? Of course there can be dangerous. I mean, look at the damn thing.
Dana killed a guy with one.
I mean, I don't know. You'd have to get like kind of like a good angle on him. You can't just come at him like you would a knife.
Wappel, he scooped my cousin's eyeballs out with a melon scooper.
I was there for that.
Jesus
That was nuts.
He had it coming.
Gross.
Yeah.
No hard feelings, Wappel.
Yeah.
What started the problem?
He said that the WWE is superior to AEW.
Oh,
you don't do that.
What are you, nuts or something?
Yeah, I'm going to gouge your eyeballs out. That would be weird.
Despite all the negativity on social media and news media, I personally do believe overwhelmingly in the real world, people are mostly good. Most people.
That used to be the case, Josh. I can't agree with that.
I still think that if you're in a room, most people are pretty good. There's just some really bad ones that ruin it for the rest of us.
I got to go along with you. You're cubby.
There are certain headlines, though, that can make it feel like maybe this is closer to the world we live in, like this one. Homeless man's wheelchair was stolen before he was set on fire with a bag of poop.
Oh, my God.
Which sounds like some hyperbole you might use when you're talking to someone about the bad day you've had. I feel like someone just stole my wheelchair and set me on fire with a bag of poop. But unfortunately, this really happened in California Friday around 2 a.m. A homeless man was set on fire with a flaming bag of fecal matter, police say. When the wheelchair-bound man saw two people writing on a wall, he told them to stop.
Man was writing on the wall. I told him to stop doing that because the owner of the building will come back on me and, blame me for it. And I didn't want that kind of trouble because I have to sleep in that doorway.
One of the men grabbed the victim's wheelchair and took off running across the parking lot with his friend in tow. But about 20 minutes later, the two men came back and then threw a flaming bag of poop at the man in the wheelchair, formerly in the wheelchair, setting him to go to a hospital with second-degree burns on his stomach.
I was asleep, laying down, didn't even see it coming, so they threw it as hard as they could. It just, flames just went everywhere on me, so I was on fire and I had to pat it out with my hand and my hat and stuff, so it burnt my hand up pretty good.
He also said, go ahead.
How soon did he realize that there was also poop involved in the fire?
Probably after he put it out.
God help us all.
He also said this isn't the first time someone set him on fire, this poor guy.
People are so trash.
In a previous incident, a college kid threw a lit cigarette on him while he slept, leaving him with major burn scars on his side. Police have not made any arrests in Friday's attack, but said they're working on a few leads, including these guys at the top of the list.
Judas Priest Barber is one of those flaming bags again.
Don't put it out with your boots, Dad.
Don't tell me my business, devil woman. Call the fire department. This one's out of control. And poop again. He called the poop.
Nick begged me to play some Adam Sandler this morning. I didn't want to.
Oh, the 1995 classic, Billy Madison.
There's a little bit of good news, though. Investigators were able to track down the man's wheelchair a few blocks away and return it to him. And after they got after the story that has got some media attention, the community came together and donated a new sleeping bag, a blanket, some food, supplies, and even a cowboy hat just for fun.
That's cute.
He now has his own cowboy hat after what he's been through?
Yeah, they hooked him up.
Boy, that is a generous city. Let's get this guy tickets to a ball game or something, too. I mean, that sounds terrible.
Well, like I said, it sounds like they're taking care of him pretty good.
They said he's been on fire twice.
It's
One
absolutely
of the
awful.
fires involved feces.
Already being down on your luck, and then you get an asshole college kid throwing cigarettes at you.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense, does it?
And here's your cowboy hat.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, I'm throwing that cowboy hat in somebody's face. I am. Hey, what are you? You gave me a cowboy hat? What do you think? I'm going to a rodeo? I'm covered in feces over here, and I've got burns all over my body. I don't need a cowboy hat.
Police investigating a death last week hadn't made any arrests in that case yet, but they did cite a state official during the investigation because she showed up drunk to the crime scene. Vermont State Police said it happened Thursday at about 8:50 p.m. when they were processing the scene of a suspicious death. When Addison County State's Attorney Eva Vakos arrived at the scene, they could smell intoxicants on her and said she was slurring her speech.
This is unprecedented if it in fact turns out to be the case. The state's attorney was intoxicated, driving, and coming to participate in a crime scene.
They say the 54-year-old refused to take field sobriety tests and was arrested for driving under the influence. She was processed, but police said she refused to cooperate with being fingerprinted or photographed. Her arraignment is scheduled for the 12th.
She's a real big shot, huh?
They're out there looking to make an arrest, and they arrest the lady that showed up to help. What a dummy. What was she thinking? Call a cab or something. It's the last call on the second Tee It Up golf card. We're nearly sold out. Just 34 left. So if golfing 6-area golf courses and saving $175 sounds good to you, you can buy yours at 93x.com today.
I'll go if you're going.
I'll be there.
It's an extra good deal now because it looks like we're going to have like 8 months to be able to golf this year.
That's a good point.
Golf courses are already opening up this week.
I was reading some stories on that yesterday. People are out golfing.
Insane.
Would you really go golfing again, Josh?
If you wanted to go, I'd go. I mean, depending on the company.
If you want to go.
Yeah, I like going to the driving ranges or Top Golf or one of those places.
Do you like driving around the little golf cart?
That's fun.
Yeah.
That is fun.
Yeah.
Ooh, look, a television. Yeah, we won't be going golfing.
Christian Bale, 50 today. Gene Hackman, 94.
Oh, I just saw him last night in a movie called Bonnie and Clyde from 1967.
He's a talented actor. Quantum Leap returns tonight on NBC, streaming today on Disney Plus, the first season finale of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Jimmy Fallon as Donald Glover and Bryce Dallas Howard. Hubba hubba.
Oh, my damn.
Then Emma Stone joins Stephen Colbert. Happy 54th to I Got Rocks for Ashley Jesus. Happy birthday to Letter Shredder Jesus. Happy birthday to Mac from Ranger Grinder Jesus. And this text says, I'd like to shout out Timmy Tampons Jesus taking his boiler test this morning. Text goes on to say, I'm so proud you overcame your disability of having a gigantic, cumbersome penis, yet still persisting and furthering your educations. Great job, Timmy Tampons Jesus, from Timmy Tampons Jesus.
Oh, of course.
And that's 93X News.
KARE 11's Randy Shaver.
He's a pay-per-view turd.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Team effort.
And how did you get it done in this environment?
I don't know. And I'm going to take the fine because the refs did not give us no calls tonight. We had to play through every bump, every grab. I don't know how we won tonight. Big shout out to my team. Big shout out to my coaches, for sure.
Team effort.
I tell you what, Anthony Edwards didn't hold back last night on the refereeing in that Oklahoma City game. We'll get to that. A1 from day one. Probably going to get fined, but who cares? Here we are, joined by KARE 11 news anchor Randy Shaver. He's still pissed off that the Chiefs and 49ers are going to be playing in that Super Bowl.
He had a rough one yesterday.
Hi, Randy.
Good morning.
Morning.
Let's see what our guest has to say about it. Stand-up comic C Willi Myles. Hello, C Willi.
Good morning, peoples.
How you doing today?
Fabulous, man. Fabulous.
You're a football guy. What do you think about the Chiefs and it's got Randy upset. The Chiefs and the 49ers. If you bother watching the Super Bowl, those are the clubs you got to watch.
Yeah, I'm pretty disturbed.
Oh, you are? I predicted that you would be okay with it, but I must be wrong.
No, I really wanted to see. I wanted to see the Ravens in Detroit.
Yeah.
That's the game I wanted to see.
Like the rest of us. Like
absolutely.
the rest. Okay.
Yeah, but the cream rises to the top, man. That's all. That's the game.
I hear you.
I'm one of those people that don't believe that. Like, if you win 1 or 2, just move on with your life.
I agree.
I need to see teams in there. Like Detroit, man. But.
They've never been.
They never been, man.
Do you think a new rule should be adopted where once you win a Super Bowl, you cannot appear in another championship game for 5 years or something like that?
I would say 2. After you won 2, then I think you got maybe like a 15 to 20-year hiatus. Okay. You don't come back.
Okay. What do you think about that, Randy Shaver? You win 2, you're out of the running for 15 years.
Well, the Vikings will never have to worry about that.
You son of a bitch. Well, we'll get to some football here shortly, but it's nice to have you visit again, C Willi Myles.
Absolutely. Love being here.
Oh, we love having you.
A few people have already texted in, said they've seen you at some recent shows, Stuck in Brainerd Jesus being one of them. Did you get
Stuck? I got to,
you met him?
Chat with him, yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't he bother you at every one of your shows, Stuck in Brainerd Jesus? See that guy that's always hollering at you from the back row?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm thinking of somebody else. Well, you've had some great shows lately?
Yeah, man. I was so busy the first part of this month. I had to check out and go down to Arizona, get some golf and relax. know.
Well,
so,
we
yeah.
appreciate you always making time for us when you got a little bit of it.
Absolutely, man.
I know how busy you are.
I know, man. I appreciate you guys having me in here in the morning time.
What a life, Randy Shaver. The guy does a few gigs and he goes down to Arizona.
Wait a minute. Why do
It's
y'all
amazing,
always say that? Shaver be off like all summer. Nobody says anything.
That is true, Randy Shaver. You don't have the most rigorous schedule anymore.
He doesn't.
Oh my God, C Willi, really?
Randy, I was so concerned one time. I called into the station. They said, no, he's just on vacation. I'm like,
oh, did Randy get canceled? I knew it. I knew Randy would get canceled.
I was really concerned one time. I said, I haven't seen the guy.
Well,
and then all of a sudden, they said, no, he takes usually the whole month.
You are looking at the wrong place. You need to listen in the mornings. That's to determine whether I'm on vacation or not.
Oh, hang on a second.
I'm always here.
Well, that is true. But
I'd agree with that.
I mean,
No.
I can't deny your attendance on the radio program. I cannot.
Exactly.
But
That's how you determine if I'm still around or not.
You do go driving around for months with the wife in a convertible,
I
though.
can, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to drop her off, and it's just not working.
She's back in the car.
She's not falling for any of your tricks.
No.
Honey, can you check the tire pressure real quick?
and the farther we get away from home, the more she just holds on. It just,
I suspect she knows.
She just hangs onto your arm.
Right.
Because she knows at one point or another you're going to try to shake her.
Hey, he tried to leave her down in southern Minnesota one time. I had to give both of them a ride back home.
That's true. You did.
What the
Saved
hell
our
happened here?
lives.
Southern
Almost
Minnesota.
worked.
What happened, Randy?
My Thunderbird fell apart on a drive home after a funeral, and thank God C Willi was not that far behind us at that time, and we called him out of desperation. Otherwise, we were stuck in, I think it was St. Peter.
Right.
The
Down there
car
somewhere.
broke down. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a creepy town.
Yeah.
No, it's not creepy.
We've had experiences there.
I got a buddy who's permanently housed in St. Peter.
Oh,
Yeah, that part's not good.
okay.
Oh, boy.
And we're not talking at Gustavus on the 6-year plan either.
And I should be very clear that he was a childhood buddy. We have had no contact for many decades at this point. So C Willi picked you up on the side of the road and brought you home.
He did. Well, actually, we called him, and he circled his way back to pick us
Right.
up.
I was a little bit ahead of you guys, and then they called and asked me where I was at. Well, it's like, well, it's Randy Shaver and Roseanne. I'm not that far ahead. I can flip around and come back and get you where you at.
What a nice guy.
And it was funny, man, because she chewed him out the whole way home. He just sat in the front.
You know, Roseanne.
See what he's taking the car. It's fine. She go, it's not fine. We're not taking that car on the trip. And he's determined to leave her somewhere.
There's a few people in my life who I never would want to get on their S list, and Roseanne's at the top.
100%.
Man,
I can't imagine.
I was like that Uber driver that didn't speak any English. I just kept my head side-eye, look at Randy to see if he was crying.
He just has 9-1 in his phone.
Yeah, I looked at his hand. He was trying to see me hand signals, but I don't read the distress signals, so I've been looking those up.
Exactly.
I don't know why everyone turns into such a chicken around this Roseanne lady. I don't get it.
Bruh.
I'm
You
not.
obviously haven't been around her.
See, Willie, I'm not intimidated. All I have to do is bat my eyes a little bit, and she's putty in my hands.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about
It works at first. That's
saw
what
her
that's what I
irritated
thought.
with you.
See, Willie had the line of the night one time at my event. He said something about, we're all doing this for free or something like that. Boy, that was not the way to do that. Boy, you got in trouble and you still are in trouble. That was like 2 years ago.
Randy Shaver, in all the years you've been, how many years you been married now, C Willi Myles?
We've been together 32 years.
32. Wow. God.
Awesome.
And Randy, you're somewheres in that neighborhood, right?
Oh, I think it's going to be 37 or 38 for us this year.
In all those years, either of you gentlemen, have you ever actually forgotten your wife somewhere?
No.
Never? Never
No.
forgotten her anywhere?
No.
Josh, you ever forgotten the wife?
No. I just remembered at Randy's pickleball tournament, I was in trouble for something I didn't even know with Mrs. Shaver.
Well, that's
What'd
normal.
you do, Josh?
Yeah, that happens a lot, man.
And from something from years and years and years ago.
Well, that tracks.
No way. A gal hung on to something for decades?
Believe it or not.
Okay, what happened?
So remember when I was just dating my wife and then we got engaged, my wife had said, hey, how come you never really say anything about it? And back in those days, our boss would tell us, don't talk about your personal lives. That's self-serving, right?
I remember those days. We were morons were in charge back in those days.
Yeah, why identify with people, you know?
Right. Why share?
Exactly.
Why when you're doing a radio show would you want to tell relatable stories back and forth with your listening audience? What are you guys, stupid or something? But so anyway, years ago, go ahead.
So she asked me, hey, I'm not trying to be needy, but you never mentioned me ever.
Oh, your wife said this, right?
At the time, my new fiance.
Copy.
And she's like, why is that? And I explained, here's the situation. I'm like, I'm not hiding you. Or she thought I was hiding, to get some action or something. I'm like, have we met? Do you know me?
You're not really the go get some action kind of a guy.
No, right. I had a couple years of my life, but that's about it. Right. And so remember, I had told you that, and I said, okay, well, we'll talk about her, and we started saying she was very obese, right?
Yeah, we decided, okay, we'll talk about Josh's wife, but we'll turn her into a character, and we'll make her this big angry beast that crushes you in your sleep and things.
That kind of thing. So we did that, and it was a joke, and my wife was cool with it, and she actually liked it because people would say, "Oh, you're not as terrible as we had thought you'd be," right? I'm like, okay, we'll talk about. And Mrs. Shaver brought it up, and I'm like, well, that was a bit 20 years ago. That was the total joke. I haven't said anything like that forever.
We turned Josh's wife into a 2-story tall gargoyle, just for fun, and
I was just the opposite. My wife's just the opposite. She doesn't. We be after my shows. My wife be sitting there selling my CDs, and the girls be asking her about me and ask me who she was, and she said she would tell them that she was like my marketing person.
Oh.
She's like, you need to sell CDs. They don't need to know I'm your wife. They need to think they have a shot.
That's a good point.
And I'm like, wait a minute. You can't just be pimping me out like this. She's like, man, my wife take a ring, I'll put it in her finger, put it in her pocket, and she just sells CDs, man. Be like, yeah, he'll take a picture with you.
Well, the other thing back
Kiss him on the cheek. Put your arms around him.
Give somebody your hotel key. Right. Give them the key. Get in the room. We also, had to be bad boy. Remember the first time one of us talked about losing our hair and we got in trouble for that?
I don't remember that.
You guys got to be sex symbols, bad boys, riding motorcycles at every concert. It was so stupid.
That's ridiculous.
Again, you have to ask, have we met?
That is not your personality in the slightest.
No. It's the dumb. I do not miss those days.
I forgot a girlfriend at a bar once. Left without her. This was one of my favorites. We were up at Izades. And we were on a snowmobile trip, a snowmobile party at Izades Resort. And me and the gal I was seeing at the time, we got on a sled and we crossed over Mille Lacs, over into Garrison. We went to, at the time, I believe it was the Blue Goose. And we're having a few beers. Met up with my folks, actually, because they're in the general area. I had a few beers with my folks, and then I said, all right, well, nice to see you to my folks, and I got back on the sled, and I go whipping across Mille Lacs back towards Izades. And my friggin' phone is buzzing in my pocket. And I saw it was my girlfriend, and I said, hello. And she said, where'd you go? And I said, well, I'm just going across the lake back to Izades. And she said, yeah, the lake that we just crossed 3 hours ago together? I'm still at the bar, you jackass. I completely forgot that I had come to the bar with her, left her at the Blue Goose.
Was that the end of that?
No, hell no, look at me.
Oh, good for her.
It wasn't the end of that. You know me. You wouldn't walk away from that. I'd have to do a lot more than that.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know. I've never been left anywhere. I think I'd be pretty ticked off. You'd come back and I'd be sitting on somebody else's lap. I'd be like, no, I got a new one.
You're also on the list of people whose bad side I don't want to be on at.
That's good. What was really strange that it didn't even occur to me when I heard her voice on the other end of the line why she was calling.
Wow.
Oh, hey, honey, how you doing?
Where you at?
Maybe I had more than beer in me. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I guess.
All right, here we go. As a loyal Timberwolves fan, I was telling everyone earlier last night is what I needed to see from my ball club to get me back to believing that this team could be ready for a deep playoff run after a series of late-game disasters here in the last week or so. Last night in Oklahoma City, Randy Shaver, the Wolves were the better team in the fourth quarter.
They certainly were, and that's a hopeful sign, right? I mean, they did it last night without Mike Conley, and that's a promising sign too. Yeah, you're right. Fourth quarter, they were rock solid. I think Ant, his decision to blast the referees is probably going to hurt him financially here. But
somebody needed to say it.
Well, I know. And I don't disagree with him in that case, but as we all know, the Wolves do too much chirping. And,
yeah, Ant has kind of passed Carl in that department.
He has. During some games, yes. Carl is kind of placed on his own, but, it's part of the. I will say this. The way that they finished that game last night gives me hope that this team has a real good chance to do something in the postseason. They haven't done anything yet, and they haven't won anything yet.
No, hell no.
So we can't crown them.
No one's crowning
Can't
anybody.
crown their ass.
Are you not crowning anybody? Are you, C. Willi? You're not crowning. No, we're not crowning anybody.
We're not crowning anybody, but
they are who we thought they were.
Yes, they are. and you know what? They did not let them off the hook last night. So,
when the game was on the line, they were tougher. They played better defense. They ran their offense efficiently. They hit big shots. There was none of that hero ball that we've been talking about lately.
Which is amazing to stop doing that kind of thing because we've seen it too much this year. But maybe the message that Chris Finch has been trying to get in their heads, at least for last night, it worked. And, Oklahoma City is a great litmus test because they are super good. They are deep.
Very good team.
They're going to be a team to reckon with when the playoffs begin, and so it was an impressive win. I'll give you that for sure.
Here's a listener.
Or who we thought they were. Oh, that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
He was so upset. He was so upset. A listener has texted in to ask what's the deal with Mike Conley. He's got a trick groin. For a couple games, he was sick, and now he's got a trick. Hamstring, not a groin. His hamstring is feeling funny. So I don't think he looked good on the bench last night. I don't think it'll be too much longer.
No,
but
I
if
don't
you
either.
if you heard the audio, Anthony Edwards called the refs cheating ass refs. That's not going to go over well.
No, he's going to pay for that.
But he was fouled terribly on that slam dunk late in the game, and Jim Peterson said what everybody was thinking. Ant was fouled by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Alexander gets that same call every time he goes near the basket. Why can't Edwards get that same call?
Team effort.
What was that?
Cheating ass refs.
Cheating ass refs.
Team effort.
They played Randy's favorite friggin' basketball player, Luka Doncic, and the Dallas Mavericks tomorrow night at home.
Boy, there'll be some crying on that game.
Oh my goodness. Luka Doncic is by far the mayor of bitching and whining and screaming at the officials. Yeah. And like I said yesterday, it makes him unwatchable. Unwatchable. All right, what else is going on? Here's an NBA rumor you guys will get a kick out of. I mean, not that it's anything wildly original. You've heard stories like this, I'm sure, before. The one and only Kevin Garnett might think about joining up with that Mark Lore dude and Alex Rodriguez once they become full-on owners of the Timberwolves.
I guess my question is, what would his role be?
Good question. I don't know if there's anything.
What exactly does Mike Modano do right now for the Wild?
He shakes hands and he drinks drinks.
I think it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it's like I think KG might be the kind of guy that would make some decisions on the roster and things like that.
Really? You think that you would put him in charge of
I would give him
the general manager?
You wouldn't give him that kind of role?
I don't think I would. No.
Why not?
I just don't think that.
Is he too old now and out of touch?
No, zero experience in doing all that.
Well,
and
I'm not saying make him the boss, the altogether boss. I'm saying give him a role in that decision making. Doesn't have to be the ultimate final answer.
You're talking about just being a voice.
Yeah.
Being a voice of the
franchise. For starters.
Sure, I can see that.
What do you think, C. Willi? Kevin Garnett being a guy who makes roster decisions, kind of a thing like Kevin McHale did? Player development. Does that sound all right to you?
Yeah. I mean, the guy, he has a championship ring. I mean, Alex Rodriguez don't know nothing about basketball.
Never even
He's
thought
an
of
owner.
that. Never even thought about that.
And the guy that he's with either don't. I mean, my thing is that if you played the game, you got to in the league as long as Kevin Garnett's been in, he's got to have some sort of idea or information of how to put together a team, or to work with the big men, the swing men's or whatever. I mean, like I said, development and stuff like that. But now, I don't know if I would make if it depends on how much money he's trying to put in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't know exactly what role he would play.
Bring him
He
in.
wanted to be part of the ownership group originally. So
Yes.
I don't know if that's still on the table or what it is, but I think it's, obviously Wolves fans would be thrilled if Kevin Garnett was in some way, shape, or form back part of the organization, where you might see him on a home game basis, watching the game from courtside. I just think that's kind of the way it should be, right? I mean, he is in a lot of ways still the face of the franchise.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So hopefully they'll be able to figure all that part out.
And Kevin Garnett doesn't have to do anything but put his money in. He don't have to do anything for me. He can just put his money in and sit on the sidelines and look pretty like Alex Rodriguez does. But if he gets a job making decisions on the roster, I'd be comfortable with that. I would. I think, like C. Willi said.
If he does pony up money to be a small part of the ownership group, then he doesn't have to do anything else other than that.
Doesn't have to do a damn thing.
That's enough.
Just show up at the game, be the ambassador.
Do we know what his exact beef is with Glenn Taylor?
Oh, yeah.
Just doesn't like Glenn.
Just doesn't like the guy.
Well, from what
one specific thing or anything, or one incident?
From what I remember reading many times that they had a handshake agreement.
Yes.
They
about buying the team.
About KG getting in on buying the team. They had a handshake agreement while Flip was still alive.
Right.
When Flip Saunders died, according to Kevin Garnett, Glenn Taylor turned his back on that handshake agreement. And Kevin Garnett has said for years he'll never forgive Glenn Taylor for that.
Gotcha.
That's the story I remember hearing time and time again. So, some hard
and that's the reason why he's never been honored. His jersey's not retired.
Right.
All those kind of things.
Which is a shame.
Which is a shame. And Wolves, he deserves that, and Wolves fans deserve that too.
Absolutely.
So,
look how long it took Jerry Jones to do it for Jimmy Johnson down in.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just petty.
It is petty, and it's no offense to Glenn Taylor's done some really good things. No doubt about it. He saved the Timberwolves. He's done some very, very good things. But the new ownership is going to walk in the door, and they're going to make things right. And that's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
I
agree.
I have a massive sneeze on deck.
Oh,
boy.
Bring it.
Just make sure it doesn't come out the other way.
Jesus, it came and went, and when it finally arrives, it's going to be a keeper. I got to warn you. Got a great text message from Lake Street Handshake Jesus. This is for folks who watched last night's Timberwolves game. Who looks better in a turtleneck? Josh in his baby blue turtleneck from 25 years ago, or Mike Conley? Did anyone see Mike Conley on the bench last night?
I did not.
Mustard yellow turtleneck.
Oh, gross.
That's not the move.
Josh looked adorable in his baby blue.
I thought he did.
But Mike is also a good-looking dude, and he can get away with a mustard yellow turtle. I'd say it's dead even tie.
Josh, you have a picture in that turtleneck?
Probably.
Oh, no, you don't. Do you really? Why would you have a picture?
I mean, I personally, and there's got to be one around because...
You wore it that often to where you...
No, just the one time, but it was a birthday party.
Oh, it was a birthday party.
You're in plenty of pictures, I bet.
If C. Willi Myles might not know the story, at Josh's, how old were we? 26, 7?
Yeah, late 20s. This is when a girlfriend tried to kill me, C. Willi.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Josh allowed his girlfriend...
What'd you do there, buddy?
Josh allowed his girlfriend to dress him for his birthday party.
I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I do not dress up. And she wanted to take me out for a birthday party, and she wanted to take me to a fancy restaurant.
Although you thought it was just going to be the two of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I protested a little bit, and she's like, well, I bought you this outfit.
It was horrible.
Can you do it for me? And it was... about 2 sizes too tight.
Skin tight.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was ribbed. It was baby blue, and it was a turtleneck. And that's the one and only time I've ever worn a turtleneck. And I felt ridiculous.
Well, I guess my question to you, Josh, is did it pay off?
I don't remember because of the trauma that occurred at the restaurant.
He just blocked that day out.
Blocked the whole day.
You know, by the way, for the record, I'm a deal closer, so probably. But so we're at the restaurant, and
if she bought you the outfit and you wore it, that's you're in.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to picture. Did the night end with me still wearing the turtleneck, but nothing below the waist?
Oh no!
Which is my sex outfit, C Willi.
Well, it was ribbed.
For your
For your pleasure.
And so, we eschew the regular dining room. We go right past it, and we go into this like gathering room. And I thought, well, that's odd. Why are we doing that? And then I see every type A alpha male that works in this building as I'm wearing a very effeminate outfit. And
you did not know that we were waiting on you for your birthday party.
No clue. And so I was red and blue. My face turned red. I see you. I see Tim Blaisdell. I see Jeff Collins. All like the manliest men who I know I'm going to get crap the rest of my life for this.
And I was sitting right between Blaze and Jeff Collins. And Josh walks in with that friggin' turtleneck on. You look like an uncircumcised penis.
I know.
Walking into the
Yeah.
And Jeff Collins says,
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah, basically, Jeff Collins said, "What the hell is this?"
So I turned to my girlfriend.
And we
I
all
said,
went, yeah.
Are you trying to get me killed?
Yeah.
Why would you do something like this to me?
Everyone had a comment.
Wow.
Mike Conley looked pretty good in his mustard turtleneck, no doubt.
Yeah, when you make that kind of money, you can wear whatever you want. Nobody cares. You've seen the people in the NBA, how they dress.
Oh, yeah.
And the
Is it a
NFL.
contest?
It's outrageous.
Amongst professional athletes?
It is.
Oh,
It's a
without a
contest to be talked about on social media.
It's costumes more than anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There is a website or something where it must be the Timberwolves website. My friggin' wife could give you the answer to this question. She watches it. We watch the Wolves every night or every game. Before the game, she tunes into a website where they show slow motion, the players walking from their cars to the locker room in slow motion so you can get a look at their wardrobe.
Right.
And at times, it's absolutely comical what these guys choose to wear in public, but it's all they want to be fashionable, they want to be talked about. It's a real thing. You should look that up and watch the slow motion players walking. It's fascinating. And what we do is they usually go from foot to tippy top of the head. You know, so it's like a guessing game.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see a big pair of bell bottoms, and I'll go, Jaden McDaniels. I'll get, because he likes bell bottoms. I'm tuned into this fashion thing these days, guys. NBA fashions, at least. What else is going on? Well, the NBA announced their all-star team, the starting lineups. I don't know if you want to get into it, but, you know, we got plenty of time before that game happens to talk about who's playing in the all-star.
I think it's more important for Wolves fans is how many guys will make it as reserves.
Right.
I mean, I think Edwards is a shoe-in. I'm not sure about
That'll be
Cat.
announced in a couple days.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Cat, but...
Right. So, on to football now.
Oh.
A little bit of football, because we got, again, time before that matters again.
I'm a little surprised that you're not going down the Twins path this morning.
Well, we did discuss it already. We can skip to that. We can skip. I was going to save that for last.
When you say we, who's we?
Well, we do have a show before you get here, Randy Shaver. We do have,
Randy,
2
it's
hours.
Not much of a show if I'm not on it.
That's true.
That's what Randy's thinking.
Right, exactly.
We do have nearly 2 hours of radio before you come on, Randy. So.
Oh, okay. So
We
you
talked
exhaust the important topics before I come on.
Exactly.
Thank you, Wappel.
You can say that however you like to say it. Yes, if you want to skip to baseball, the Twins
No,
traded.
that's fine. No. I just didn't want you.
We can do it. Jorge Polanco traded.
Yeah.
To the Seattle Mariners. 10 years with the club, longest tenured member of the club. We all loved watching Jorge play. Great player. It's a damn shame, but they're trying to pile up some live human beings to pitch the baseball next season. And these are the moves you got to make. Or do you disagree with this move?
I don't disagree with it. I'm sad, like you. I think Polanco's a great player, and he's been a very important part of the organization over the last 10 years. But, you know, you're going to get it. You're going to get a body that can fill a rotation spot if he's healthy. in DeSclafani. The Topa kid, I shouldn't say kid, he's 32, but he pitched a lot of innings last year.
Bullpen guy, right?
And they could use a guy like that. So I think that's a plus. And I want to say the Twins have 3 years of controlling his contract too, if they wish. But the real key to the whole deal is the young outfielder, Gonzalez, who just turned 20. He's ranked very high in the Mariners organization, and I was reading last night he likely will be a top 5 prospect in the Twins organization once he comes over here.
Top
Gabriel
5?
Gonzalez.
Top
5 behind Brooks Lee and Walker Jenkins, and then one other guy. So he's the key to the whole deal. And if he pans out the way the Twins are hoping, he could be a guy that once you get that group together, and we've talked about this before, that Brooks Lee, Walker Jenkins, Royce Lewis, when that group all gets together, and that could be sooner than later, and this kid joins them, there's kind of that thought process of, wow, remember what it was like in 1985, 86 before the 87 season when Puckett and Herbeck and Bernansky and Gaetti and all those guys were young guys in the minors or just starting their career with the Twins, what that felt like. And this could be one of the first times that we'll have that kind of a feeling again, because there's no doubt Brooks Lee's going to be a stud. And the Jenkins kid is on his way.
And what's his nuts
Royce
is already
Lewis
there.
is already there.
Yeah.
And if Gabriel Gonzalez turns out to be what the Twins hope he will be, that's going to be another piece to that puzzle. And the Bowen kid, the pitcher, who knows? Young pitchers are, you don't sometimes really know what you got until they get going. He's proven himself so far to be pretty good. So all in all, I think it's a pretty good deal for the Twins. And they have a glut of middle infielders, so it frees up space because Julian's going to play second base and Lewis is going to play third. So, I think this opens the door, honestly, for Brooks Lee to end up with the Twins probably fairly early on in 2024 with the big club too.
All right.
So.
The Super Bowl matchup that nobody wanted. Randy, a few listeners have been texting in, and they're getting in line with you. They're thinking about just skipping it altogether this year's Super Bowl.
I'm not actually lying about that.
Randy says he's full on. He's going to skip it.
I'm thinking about it seriously.
How about a little trivia question? Okay, but just so you know, there are some listeners who were saying they're with you, Randy. They're going to skip it altogether, too. They're tired of the Chiefs. They're tired of the friggin' 49. How about a trivia question? According to NFL research, this will be the 4th all-time Super Bowl rematch among head coaches. So Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan, right, are facing each other for the 2nd time. 3 other times, coaches had a rematch with each other. Can you name those coaches?
Well, I'm going to guess Belichick and somebody.
Right.
Been there so long.
That would make sense.
I don't know who that would be.
Who was the team that kind of had Belichick's number, and who was the coach?
Kind of had Belichick's
in the Super Bowl.
Coughlin.
Tom Coughlin.
Giants.
Correct. Sure. New York Giants, New England Patriots, Tom Coughlin and Bill Belichick played each other twice.
Sure.
This will help you. Think of a coach, not Bud Grant, who lost 4 Super Bowls.
Well, that'd be the coach of
Marv Levy.
Marv Levy, who whooped his ass a couple of times.
Jimmy Johnson.
The Dallas Cowboys. And then go back to the 2 clubs that were kind of the premier clubs in the 70s who met a couple times in the Super Bowl. And
Tom Landry and the coach in Pittsburgh.
Go ahead, C. Willi Myles, the coach in Pittsburgh during those
Chuck
Noll. That's right.
Chucky.
4th time.
Wow.
Yesterday, I saw pictures of the puppies on the 2024 Puppy Bowl rosters, and it looks like it's going to be another great game.
Maybe I'll tune in for that.
Oh, yeah, I love
There you go.
Can you bet on the Puppy Bowl?
I'm sure you can.
I bet there's a way. You can see the puppies on this year's roster at 93x.com.
My favorite, too, being a dog named Small Ed. I forgot what kind of dog Small Ed was, but I like the looks of him. And my other favorite, a clueless-looking, bug-eyed pug named Peanut Pretzel. Look for those two to do some damage at the puppy bowl.
I bet your wife is psyched, Josh. There's a Great Dane.
Levi?
Yeah.
You got all the roster up on our website?
Yes, sir.
Look for that damn bug-eyed pug. He looks like he has no idea what he's doing or why he's there.
Yeah, he has no clue.
Someone hung the name Peanut Pretzel on him.
Peanut Pretzel.
There's a lot of good boys on here, that's for sure.
He'll be a factor. Did you know that some Lions fans are blaming the Detroit Pistons for the Lions' loss in the NFC title game against the 49ers?
They're an easy target.
Now, the reasoning behind this, the Lions and Pistons haven't won on the same day since December 19th of 20 plus 21.
Good Lord.
So, the Pistons won earlier in the day Sunday. They beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, Randy. You were talking about that game.
Yeah.
The Pistons won earlier that day. So evidently, according to Detroit sports fans, that murdered the Lions' chances of winning the NFC title game.
Wow.
You see where they're going with that?
No.
I would say Dan Campbell's decision-making.
I'm going to need more than that to prosecute that. That's
one fan.
Circumstantial evidence, you're saying?
That's all that is.
At best?
Right.
One fan tweeted, "The Pistons won, but at what cost?"
A W.
I don't know if we have time to get into this.
But don't they get free wings in Detroit when the Pistons win? So at least they have some wings to comfort them.
I don't know.
That's true,
I think I remember
but
something
they're still
about
doing that.
Yeah, because they were doing that. That was so funny is that this company, I think it was Wingstop, was trying to give wings away, but the damn team could never win.
Good Lord.
I suppose we might as well dive into this real quick. This might get you going. It's this old argument again. And this is an article from a website called SB Nation. NFL taunting shouldn't be penalized. And, of course, this goes back to the AFC title game from a couple days ago. You got the wide receiver from Baltimore. He taunts the Chiefs' defensive back on that big play. A big play turns into not such a big play. He's flagged for taunting. I think a big springboard for this conversation to be a thing again is Joe Burrow, the quarterback for the Bengals. When he was watching the AFC title game and he saw that taunting penalty, he tweeted, "Let the guys taunt." So there's this argument again. Should we be letting these players really express themselves and taunting? And what does it hurt? And it's all part of the game. And kids do it on the playground. What the hell?
That's not a good thing, though. You don't want that.
I don't know. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, you don't want kids doing that.
Well, why not?
Because you don't. That's just not the way you.
C. Willi Myles, taunting, should it be penalized in the NFL?
Well, those are grown men.
Right.
And I think you got to set an example. But at the end of the day, I mean, these sports, man, if you're not confident in your abilities, and if you're going up against the best, you gotta get chalked up on the inside yourself, and sometimes it comes out of your mouth. Look, you're talking to the wrong person, because I was the biggest trash talker when I played football. I needed to get into that wide receiver's head. Mm-hmm. And that was my way. I had to say a few things about his mother, that he didn't know that I knew.
She raised you right, man.
But that's a little bit different than what Flowers did or what we see happen.
Okay. Yeah, some of that stuff is getting out of hand.
John Randall used to do that all the time, and didn't get flagged for it. I mean, there's ways that you do those things and not get flagged for it. It's just when you stand over a player after a big play, that was just dumb. He didn't need to do that. Whatever happened to just handing the football to the ref and walking away?
Right.
It's boring. It's too boring.
Well, but that's
these
the way.
Today, these guys, they want to be somebody. They want to be on social media. They want to be on the sports websites. Look what this guy did. Look at his touchdown celebration.
Every single first down, has a dance now.
It does. It's just ridiculous. All the stuff that they do.
And you're down 30-3.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the part.
I can't figure that out either.
As a coach, and I'm telling my players, listen, if we ain't up, don't you even think about doing the gritty. I don't care if you caught an 80-yard bomb.
Or run to the end zone after you got a turnover and like you're down by 3 touchdowns still. I mean, really?
Here's something you'll find really interesting.
So
I think.
ridiculous.
Yeah, the defense gets an interception. They run 98 yards to the other end zone.
Every time I see something like that, I think of Barry Sanders. Every time I see guys do things like that, I think of Barry Sanders.
Walter Payton.
If anybody had a reason to celebrate incredible plays, it's Barry Sanders, and you never, ever, ever, ever saw him do anything like that.
But some people think of Deion Sanders and think of how much fun it was. If Deion Sanders, if he intercepted the ball on the opposite 20-yard line, he taunted the 80 yards all the way into the end zone.
Yep.
Here's the thing, real quick. Someone was just saying, guys will dance and taunt even when their team is being destroyed. This is a stat that I found really funny the other day. Back to the AFC title game. Somebody came up with this stat. By the third quarter of the AFC title game, Odell Beckham Jr. of the Ravens had 0 catches, but he had 3 dances at that point in the ball game.
Oh, that's cringy.
That's just funny to think. Yeah. He hadn't contributed at all, but 3 times he had danced on the field for some reason.
Well, that's not true. He drew double team.
What's that?
He drew a double team.
So what do you mean?
Somebody else got open. So maybe that's why he was happy.
There you go. Yeah. But here's the argument now. Here's the argument. They say, absolutely no doubt what this Zay Flowers kid did. Mm-hmm. Pushing a player back down, they say yes, that was taunting. But the NFL rule is so loose that they could make the same argument that Travis Kelce, when he points downfield after every first down, that should also be flagged if you follow the NFL rule. So
I'm fine with him getting flagged for that. That's annoying.
Why is Zay Flowers flagged as opposed to Travis Kelce?
Well,
because the exact definition of taunting, according to the NFL rulebook, is as follows. Using, some of this I don't understand, using baiting or taunting acts or words that may engender ill will between teams. So by that definition, saying, hey, I got a first down is just as big of a taunt as, standing over a player or...
I disagree with that.
Well, how can you disagree with the rule? It says right here.
I don't look at that the same way as I do a player physically pushing a player back down and standing over them. It's not the same thing.
That to me is taunting.
Yes,
but being a smartass and going first down, that can't be defined as...
I mean, you could do that. You could say every time there's a turnover or a big play and they run to the camera, that's taunting. I agree. To me, I think that's ridiculous.
Everyone has their own
wasting time. But I think then you got to start.
But I think if you're doing it specifically to a player, if you're specifically standing over a player or you're specifically doing something to taunt a player after you've beaten them on a play or whatever it is, that's when they're going to call it, because you're specifically singling out one player or 2 players or whatever it is.
And that's no more celebrating after a sack. There's no more fist pumping after, that's, to me, it gets I
think all of that, when video games became as big as they are, that's when all of this actually really took off. Is players realizing that if they did those kind of things and the video game company decides that they're going to use those as part of the game, that's how this all really just took off.
Still,
and they're trying to control the game.
I won't tell the whole story again, but still, the greatest taunting act that I ever saw in person was in youth hockey, when a kid scored like his 5th goal against us and then perfectly mimicked masturbation at our mothers in the stands.
That is perfect.
That's awesome. Skeet. There was on our bench, there was no getting mad. We looked at this kid and said, that is the most hilarious thing I'd ever seen.
And then you went on to the NHL, right?
I went on to the NHL?
No, that kid who did the masturbation celebration. Did he go on to the NHL?
Hell, I don't know. He was that damn good. And it goes on and on and on and on from here. This article about taunting. And one final comment they make. One of the big arguments against taunting is the children. Oh, God. they'll be watching these athletes and then mock them on the playground because that's
They do.
Yes.
They've been doing that for
so effing what?
Yeah,
so
hasn't that
effing
been
what?
happening forever?
Yeah, I did it when I was a child.
That's not the end of it. I didn't mean to make it sound like that was their only argument. Of course, that's been going on for. They say, but pay no mind to the fact that a kid watching the NFL on Sunday is explicitly told through advertising that fast food is required to watch football, that beer makes game days better, and that gambling is a way to add excitement to sports.
Exactly.
So they go that way with it.
I think that a lot of that is just parents wanting to blame their kids' behavior on other people.
Exactly.
Just own it. Teach your kid, like, hey, did you see what Flowers did? Don't do that. It's not that hard.
I'll give you that, Ashley. I'll agree with that. They say that taunting serve as subplots for the game. It makes football better. It establishes personalities. It establishes rivalries. It gives us heroes and villains. So there's good and bad and this side and the other side. Whatever. I don't get it. The one that bothers me, Wappel mentioned it, right? The one that irritates me more than anything, just because it's been done to death, is when the defense turns the ball over. Come on, guys, let's all go to the end zone together and please stop wasting our time with that.
That's a lot of
it's just been done to death. We get it. You're all so funny and creative. Oh, you worked that out in practice. Oh, you're rowing a boat now. I've had enough of it. That does. But if a guy wants to be a dick, let him be dicks a little bit.
True. It's a gladiator sport, man. And look, if you're pounding in that, I'm just saying that. To me, at the end of the day, when you break through that hole and there's a linebacker there and you plow over him, I mean, there's something to be said. You need to look down at him, let him know it's going to be like this all day, bro.
It feels good, too, doesn't it?
It does.
To run
really
a guy
does.
over, to knock a guy on his ass, to get a big hit against a pitcher, whatever. It feels good. You want to express yourself.
I can't help but think, like they think, that physical contact or the standing over a guy is bad, but I can't even imagine what they say to each other. It's probably some of the most vile stuff you've ever heard.
Have you ever been inside of a pile on a...
That's what I was going to say.
I mean, I'm seriously, that's one of the things that was the most terrifying thing for me was getting in a pile. Because these guys start grabbing and pulling, and if they get a hold of anything, they're holding it, and you can hear guys screaming. It's like what?
Yeah, for nothing's sacred, right?
No,
They'll
absolutely.
go for genitalia and everything.
Doesn't matter.
Beeholes.
No.
Okay, Wappel. We don't want to hear about
that
your
was
problems.
aggressive. Yeah, never had that happen.
We're not going to hear about your problems this morning.
Sounds like Wappel, you're describing a party you had over the weekend.
It's always that one person that goes too far.
Yep. Always making it personal about you.
Wappel,
you guys to know about my times.
Are you...
Your time's in the pile.
Yeah.
Are you okay? All right, we got to go.
I noticed you were standing today.
I was trying to have a conversation, and Wapple's got to get filthy. Thanks, Randy Shaver.
You bet.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. C Willi Myles going to hang around. We'll be back here in a few minutes on the program.
Half-assed morning show. They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance. 93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
How wrestling really works and how you get the ratings. Eric Bischoff and Conrad Thompson explain on 83 Weeks.
I mean, I dig Jey Uso because he's born out of great storytelling and he lived up to the opportunity and exceeded it. The LA Knight, he's way up on my list because here's a guy that's been around for almost ever, should have probably quit a half a dozen times, and he just forced his way into their life. And now he's making money hand over fist. That is a story I love.
83 Weeks on YouTube or wherever you listen.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Tell you what, it's unbelievable. We're back on the Half-Assed Morning Show. It's 8:34 already. Got a message here from a wonderful listener. Text message, don't you know? A lot of times folks will text in. They want to officially register their Jesus or she's name. And we appreciate that so we can keep track of who's who. Here is a listener who says, please register me as Alice Cooper fan. Jesus, they go on to say, now I've read the bylaws and I understand that I get 12 CDs for just a penny and then only have to buy 3 more in the next 2 years at regular Brotherhood price, right?
That's how it works.
That is how it works.
I fell for a couple of those scams back in the day.
That brings me back to what was that gimmick called? The
well, BMG, wasn't that one?
BMG.
I forget the other one.
Yeah.
And
Columbia House.
Columbia House. Going back even further, it was Columbia House, and you'd open up your magazine.
Right.
And
I remember the first one I got. The first tape I got was Metallica Garage Days Revisited.
It's funny because I remember the first, I fell for that too as a kid, and the first record that I bought from the Columbia House, like the listener was joking around, next thing you know, you have the option to buy 30 effing records for 5 cents. The first one, what did you say, Metallica what?
Garage Days Revisited.
Garage Days. For me, it was Frampton Comes Alive, C. Willi Myles.
Brother, that was about me.
Frampton Comes Alive.
I had that.
Everybody had Frampton Comes Alive. What's the joke?
Go ahead.
What's the joke in what's that movie? The dopey guys who had the cable television show.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. Didn't they make a joke about how that record was distributed to the suburbs in every mailbox in 1976? Right.
I got in so much trouble for that. I remember when it showed up in the mail and it's putting those little stickers on every single one I wanted. They showed up. My folks, I thought, were going to kill me. My dad specifically.
They thought you had gone ahead and spent $100.
They thought it was ridiculous. Well, then it was so tough to get out of that thing.
It was like once you made that deal, it was the mob.
Yeah, it really was.
There was no getting out. It took me forever. I'm like, how? There was no number to call.
Yeah.
There was nothing. You couldn't you couldn't unsubscribe.
No. It was you were trapped for life. Frampton Comes Alive. You got that one too, huh?
Yeah.
Shadows.
Pennies and nickels at a time, man. It's like, how do you owe 15 cents and you can't pay it off? I want out of this deal.
Yeah, I was right there with you, bro.
And they were just sending them. I mean, it's the Spotify. It was the Spotify of that day.
70s and early 80s.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt. C. Willi Myles, stand-up comic C. Willi Myles is in studio, one of our dearest pals. While we're talking about spending, C. Willi, not trying to get too personal here, but how are you with money? Are you a responsible guy?
Yes.
You are?
Very.
Josh is too. He knows what the hell's going on at all times with his money.
I married my banker, so.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Smart.
my wife is. Yeah, I met my wife at a bank. Well, we were in college, but
she worked at a bank.
She worked at a bank
in town.
Yeah, she balanced my checkbook, and she's been doing it ever since.
I used to just despise the word budget, stuff like that. I hated it.
Yeah.
Too restrictive, and you don't have any money anyways. What's the point? But
Right.
I kind of got on this program, kind of a cult actually,
Right.
and it changed things for me. So I'm not much of a big spender, anyways. But yeah, I'm a big budgeter.
I'm not going to say I'm not a big spender, but I'm very cautious on what I spend my money on.
You know what your bottom line is day to day.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. What I buy, anything I buy big is an investment.
Okay. Well, then you're a perfect guy to ask. And I shared not that long ago with everybody that the only reason why I have any idea what's going on with my money is because of my new freaking wife. She keeps track of all that stuff.
Right.
She's bright.
I'd be lost without her in that aspect. I could move on from her for other reasons. But anyway, you might be the right guy to ask. You ever made a financial decision that came back to bite you in the ass, C. Willi Myles?
A financial decision that
invested in something?
No.
No? Okay, good for you.
No.
Because Josh and I were talking off air about years and years ago. We were working on the radio together. Josh branched out into real estate for a brief period of time, and it bit you in your little bottom.
I've never had any luck there. They always say, real estate, they don't make more land. You got to buy it up. And you see all these rich folks doing it, and I've come from a poor family, generations of it that never, had any business success or acumen in that regard at all. And so, but I had a couple friends who were in real estate and absolutely loaded. And at the time I was single and I lived modestly and I was, putting a little bit away as much as I could. And they're like, hey, why don't you get in on this? And we ran projections. We went to finance guys and it never quite felt right. But they said this is why people like you don't get rich, because you don't think like the rest of us, the ones that do. So I thought, well, you got a point, because everything you're doing doesn't seem so right to me. And now people who know about this stuff laugh at me because they say, oh, what year did you get into this real estate venture? Well, it was 2006, 2 years before the collapse.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was like interest-only loans, stated income. So they're like, we're just going to put down whatever you need to make to qualify for this. 2 mortgages on everything. And we ran these projections, and everything they said made sense. I'm never, ever, ever going to do anything but work for the man ever again. And I know that means I'm never going to be wealthy. I'm not going to have a nest egg to leave the kids or anything. I get it, but I'm not going to put that. I was miserable. I got down to like 120 pounds. I mean, it was awful, absolutely awful.
You went through a tough run there. You were buying up properties, and then your idea was to rent them out, and
then eventually we'd sell them with how crazy appreciation was at the time. That was the goal.
We were, like I said, we were having this conversation off air. I give you credit for even understanding word one about that type of so I can't share any bad financial decisions either from my life because I've never made one. I wouldn't have the single effing idea how to get into real estate, how to invest in this or that. Not a single clue. But, Josh, you had that nightmare, at least for a brief period of time.
I can only think of one thing that I sunk a bunch of money into that bit me in the ass, and that was probably paying for my wedding. That was so much money, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to remember this day for the rest of my life. It's going to be the most meaningful day. Why not? Who cares? Doesn't matter. Now I'm like, okay, well, that $15,000, or if not more than that I spent just like myself on the wedding. I wish I had that now.
What the hell ever happened to the father of the bride? Handling all the...
Wow.
No,
gosh, and also, I'm not trying to be rude, but your wedding was quite simple, it seemed to me. The scenery, what's the word I'm looking for? The reception, the venue. Where did $15,000 go? You don't have to answer.
It adds up so fast, and venues are ridiculously expensive.
Was that just a cocaine tab or something like that?
Compared to other people, what they pay for their venues now, I actually got a good deal. But if you would say you're looking for a venue in like 8 months from now, so plenty of time, they're going for at least $10,000.
Jeez, they know how to get you,
dude.
Yeah. And they know you're stuck. You're gonna do it.
We didn't even spend $5,000, and it was a free beer at ours.
That's so cool.
Yeah, but I know, because that was my fear, and I was older when I got married. I was in my early 30s, and I didn't want to have debt, and I just got over all this other crap. I shouldn't say I got over it. I was still going through it, but so we didn't have the money anyways. But I thought ours was fine, but $15,000, that's crazy. And I know people spend more. Shoot, former coworker of ours spent over $300,000 on it.
Yeah, it just adds up. But without you noticing, you look back, and you're like, whoa.
Well, we had to have 2. So
you would have 2 weddings?
We had 2 receptions.
Oh.
But we got married in Minneapolis, and then my wife is from a small town, so we had to go there. Our reception in Minneapolis was ridiculous. It was expensive because we were in Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah.
But when we went back to her small town of 200 people, the whole town was there. And because my wife, it's a little German town, the Catholic, and we was at the Greenwall pub. And literally what we paid for the reception there, we had 40 more people. We had like 100 and some odd people, 150, 160 people at this reception.
Right.
It was open bar the whole time, and the meal. And what we paid there was just the gratuities, what we paid in Minneapolis.
Oh, really?
Like when they told me how much we owed, I was like, I'm sorry, but did that include the food and the liquor? He goes, yeah, that's everything. I'm like, well, Jesus, you're going to get a big tip, man, because this is I was expecting.
I know we've talked about this before. My first wedding, I'm gonna find out the answer, because I've told you guys before. My first wedding was massive. I can't even tell you how many people were there, and it was fancy. I don't know what the total damage was, and I think I'd be embarrassed even to say it. But here's the thing: I may be able to finally get an answer from you, because my friggin' wife recently had contact with my first wife. They've remained friendly. They've known each other. I'm not trying, maybe I'm confusing people, but my current wife has been a part of my life for 33-4 years. We've known each other. So my current wife obviously knew my first wife, and they recently connected on Facebook or something. And maybe I can finally get an answer as to how many people were there and how much friggin' money it cost. But it didn't cost us a dime because her father was wealthy, is wealthy. So didn't cost us an effing dime.
I can't remember. Did you have a destination wedding or did you have it in town?
Well, wait a minute. Well, it was in Minnesota. It was north of here.
Oh, okay.
But anyway,
I'm nervous about that. I'm hoping that father of the bride thing goes away, to be completely honest, to someone with
Oh, Josh, my dad
daughter.
straight up was like, we can afford this, and that's it. Like, you're going to have to figure out everything else. They did the basic, they did the, the dress. You got to buy the dress.
Let me tell you something, man. So when my daughter got married, and I had the money put away for her wedding, but my daughter, we sent her to Arizona State, paid for everything. She didn't pay for nothing.
God damn.
And my daughter got married.
I'm gonna get on
she
stage
said,
and start telling some jokes.
My dad said, there's no way. Oh, my daughter. My daughter told me there's no way you're paying for my wedding, Dad. You've done enough. You bought me a car. You sent me to college. You paid for everything. I'm walking out of college with no debt, no loan, no nothing.
Right.
That's
and
huge,
she said,
yeah.
the least I can do is pay for my wedding. I said, well, no, we got the money put away for. She said, you're not doing it. I said, well, what do you want me to do? I said, I got to pay for something. I got this money put away. She said, well, if you want to pay for our honeymoon. So we paid for our honeymoon. I got my best friend at the time. He's still one of my best friends in the world. He was a former comedian turned photographer. He shot my wedding and he shot my daughter's wedding. So I said, I'm going to pay for your photographer. It's going to be Charlie. She knows Charlie. Charlie Walker. Great comedian out of Minneapolis here back in the 80s and 90s. Lives in Vegas now. Flew him to Arizona. She got married in Arizona. And this is what my daughter did. She's like, I'm not inviting everybody, just the people in my life. My daughter knew exactly how many people she was going to invite. And she had a wedding on a Friday so people couldn't make it. So she only sent out invitations to people that she wanted. And she sent out, like her husband. So Joey is a cool guy. Love him as a son-in-law. He's a great person. He had a bunch of friends that he was inviting. She said, don't put a +1 on Tony. He doesn't have a girlfriend. Just invite Tony. Right. She said, I'm not feeding some wench that's just going to come here to eat and gets to stay at a nice hotel.
So she was pretty frugal about it.
She was. So she went to this, she got married in Scottsdale, Arizona at this resort. It was beautiful. They had an indoor, outdoor type place. My daughter invited 62 people.
Oh my gosh.
Period. She cut that out. She was like, these are the people I want at my wedding. Everybody else would come, but I'm not paying to feed you and all that kind of stuff. And that was, and she did. She paid. So we paid for her honeymoon and the photographer, and I paid for the
you taught her well.
dinner, the dinner and all that kind of stuff.
62 people. That'd be awesome.
She had it down. She knew exactly. They told her, here's what it's going to cost you for the wedding, the venue, and the food at total. And she knew exactly. And she paid for it monthly. She put something on it. She put something on. She said, Dad, I had to put something on it. She said, remember that joke you do like down south? Because we had everything we had was on layaway. Yeah. We were poor. We had no money. So we had to go, my mom would always say, I'm going to go down there and put something on it. And my daughter would tell me that, Dad, I'm going to put something on it this month.
So you're a responsible spender and your daughter has followed suit.
She got that from her mom.
Oh, she got that from her mom.
Yeah. I mean, we just taught her young that if you want something, you got to save up for it. I never had money. So when I got money, it was weird.
That makes a difference, I believe. We need to take a break. I think that does make a difference.
Absolutely.
When you come from nothing and you get a little something. Right. You hover over it, you protect it.
Right.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
It's a complete crap.
All right, we're here with C Willi Myles, stand-up comic C Willi Myles. We're about ready to bust out of this joint. We were talking about terrible financial decisions. Some folks like to try investing in this or that. Sometimes folks come into money and they F it up. There can be problems. Folks on the internet, we're talking. Tell me if you could live with these financial F-ups. We've all done all right. Tell me if you could be these people. Well, first off, tell me what this means, because I know nothing of this subject. One individual said, I had the chance to buy Apple stock back in the 80s and passed.
No.
What does that mean to anybody?
Well, he could have bought it at a much lower price.
And be filthy rich now.
Apple is a big deal.
Asked me about CrossFit Jesus, texted in and said he had an opportunity to buy some big domain names when the internet first started, and he passed on it thinking it was, a gimmick. We were offered the same thing. Do you remember, Nick, a co-worker of ours at the time, our internet guy? He was buying up a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, they're relatively cheap. You can buy these. And we thought the same thing. Like, that sounds ridiculous. He bought a farm. I mean, he's living the high life because he made those investments. He bought these huge company names. He was so smart to think of something like that.
I had a math teacher that did that, and he got filthy rich, but continued to teach him just because he liked being around the kids,
Gambling money can be a problem.
It sounded a little sketchy.
Sounds like a 48-hour deal.
Yeah, it does. Why don't you have a seat right over there?
Gambling can sidetrack lives quickly. Here's an individual who applied for a $5,000 loan that didn't get accepted quickly enough, so they applied for another $5,000 loan. Both got accepted, and they ended up gambling it all.
No.
I know some people whose lives have been ruined by gambling.
Oh, I'm so
It's too
lucky
bad.
I never really got into that. Because I know better. If I go to the casino or something, no card comes with, only cash and never over 100, or else I'm just gonna destroy my life.
Bad financial decisions. Decisions is how you say it. They bought a TV on Black Friday instead of fixing their leaky roof.
Wow.
Priorities, man.
Well, that deal comes around once a year.
Once a year.
Yeah.
I don't have the dramatic ending of that story, but I think we can all figure it out.
Yeah.
A guy got $30,000 for an undisclosed reason. Okay, I guess we'll just go along with it.
Interesting.
Somehow someone had $30,000 placed in their lap. They bet it all on the New York Yankees to win one game, and the Yankees lost.
Ouch.
An individual says, my ex-boyfriend always bragged about how he cheated on his taxes. Guess what? They found out. He's so far in debt now, he'd need to win the lottery to get himself square. Sucks.
They always find out.
That stuff
always.
would scare the heck out of me.
We
I
know
was
what-
audited once, a random audit, and it was miserable. I did nothing wrong, and it took them 2 years to figure that out.
That was...
Well, they knew from day one. They just wanted to stress you out for 2 years.
It was a bad couple years for me,
a
yeah.
sad cubby, let me tell you. I was on the ground floor for that.
And so
you guys don't want to see sad cubby.
No, I don't.
That was rough. It was a rough couple of years, but
Yeah.
that in particular, I mean, to the point, like, there was so much stuff going on. When I got the letter in the mail, I just laughed about it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I had, this is the one thing that sucked. They need all this information, and they called it a line item audit. So I had everything that came in, anything that went out for 2 years.
Right.
I had to go back, and I'm very anal, so I keep records of stuff. So I had it, and then my tax representative was like, hey, I need you to grab this from whenever. And so I went to my computer died.
Oh.
And I thought, they're thinking, yeah, right, dude. And that was the case. So there's like this company, I don't know if it's still there, but in Eden Prairie, where they bring it into like this big white clean room, right? And then they open up your hard drive and try and get some stuff. But the guy was really cool that worked there. He's like, I could bring it in and open it, but it's going to cost way more than whatever your fine is with the, I almost called them the FBI, the IRS.
Right.
So I ended up paying like a few $100 fine for, they called it bad record keeping fee, which hurt because I keep really good records.
Oh, I bet.
And that was it. But yeah, it was 2
Just
years of
hurt
my
your
life.
ego.
It was 2 years.
You had diarrhea every day.
Oh, it was awful. Absolutely awful.
I got audited once.
Did you?
And that was before I incorporated myself. And
Okay.
I'll never forget that. I was sitting there with my accountant. And when they said, this is what they said you owe. And I looked at her, and she looked at me. She goes, just pay it. That's only a quarter of it.
Oh, man.
She said, that's all they found. She said, pay it.
I suppose.
She said, don't argue. That's what she said. When you tell me you go for, just say, how much you think I owe? Give me that number. They gave me the number. I said, I have no records. This is before I said, I wasn't keeping any records. I wasn't incorporated at the time. And you get your W-2s in the mail or W-9s or whatever they send you. Or,
Right.
You know, and I I kept as many of them as I could. Some of them I was moving around a little bit then,
right?
So they were sending them to old addresses and stuff, and they never got to me. So, and they said, "Well, this is what you owed," and then some of them never sent out anything, and I remember getting paid cash.
God
so
dang.
this was that old comedy club days.
Oh yeah.
Here's the other thing I just thought of. At the time, before Amazon charged sales tax, right? I reported any Amazon purchase so they could charge me the sales. Like I was that anal about. I used to get made fun of by my tax lady, saying, "What do you know? Nobody does this." I'm like, I am a rule follower. Whatever they say, and then I get audited.
Right. Couple more bad financial decisions from internet people before we get out of here. A dude who invested $20,000 on fidget spinners. And they came and went faster than you could say Jack Robinson.
Yeah, those were huge for a while, though.
Just for about 3-4 weeks, everybody had to have a fidget spinner. This guy went.
They were everywhere around here.
I'm not a fad guy, so I never got into stuff like that.
If you blink, you missed it. And this guy bought $20,000 worth of the damn things and was going to sell them to people. Well, before he was ready to go, it became a thing of the past, and he was stuck.
Poor guy.
Dude cashed in his 401k to have a cocaine party.
I thought that was a hell of a cocaine party.
The year that Tickle Me Elmo came out, a dude bought a bunch of dolls he was convinced were going to be the next big ticket Christmas present that caused people to go crazy, but no one wanted them. He ended up eating he ended up eating $2,000. Could have been way worse.
Yeah, it could be way worse.
Could have been way worse. Oh, my damn. C Willi Myles, we got to go.
Oh, man, I appreciate you guys having me.
We always love having you in. Our listeners always love it.
A few people have texted in, said they're going to go to some of your upcoming shows.
Yeah, I'm up here in Spring Lake Park February 8th.
Okay.
February 8th, I'll be at the theater in Spring Lake Park. And then I'm going down to Fairmont at the Faribault. At the Paradise Center for the Arts.
Sure.
And then I'm down in Fairmont.
Faribault?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the Opera House. So I got the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th.
Well, look on the Fairmont one. Look for Always Tired Southern Minnesota welder Jesus. He said he's going to be there. And he mentioned how much fun he had. He saw you 15 to 20 years ago at the Comedy Barn in Spirit Lake, Iowa.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so he said he had a great time. He's looking forward to seeing you again.
I love that place, man.
Well, a lot of our listeners want you to quit the stand-up comedy business and join our show for full-time.
Well, tell them to make me an offer.
Yeah.
I'm ready to come off the road.
We will, and you would not be happy with it.
No, you would not.
Talk about bad financial decisions.
That would be a brutal financial decision.
Yeah, the next time this topic comes up, that would be your number one answer.
See you soon, C Willi Myles.
Yeah, take care.
Brother.
Thank you.
You guys take care.
Thank you. You bet. Here's a good financial decision if you like golf. It's about it for the Tee It Up Golf Card Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. They're almost sold out, so if you're a golfer, you can save yourself about $175 to golf 6 area courses.
Electric Boogaloo.
Getting yours at 93x.com today. And before we go, happy 7th birthday to Adam, Dad's Mini-Me, from Sleazy, Big, Dirty, Stainless, and Maintenance Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.